Hey guys, welcome to episode 233 of 4Player Animecast. It is the end of October, and we are continuing on with our fall season. I know we have the new year coming as well as the previews, so we're going to try to finish up all of the great, wonderful series that we have this season, according to Nier, before we head off into the next. But yeah, again, I am your host, Spire, and with me are my compatriots, Near,
Hello.
Toast,
What's with the ASMR voice?
because I have guests over and I can't be too loud because they are also sleeping. So,
It's 9 o'clock.
uh, yeah, well, they are. I mean, I'm not in. My guests are not like a bunch of teenagers. They're older people, so they sleep earlier. But yeah,
What Spire's trying to say is that Joe Biden came to visit. Okay.
yeah, pretty much.
Joey came over.
uh, Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, all of the Congress that's like 70 X years old, or which is like half of Congress, but but yeah, they all came over. But that's Toast and Dark.
Hello.
All right, so let's start off with our 2 weeks very briefly, starting again with Dark then.
Um, I'm still burning through shows,
Mhm.
as I was last time. I actually went back through the beginning of Bofity because I was like, you know what? I restarted this at like episode 9. May as well go back to the beginning, you know. So I basically restarted that series after burning through some of it. I went through. I think this was after. I can't remember. Was it 2 weeks ago? Did I talk about Maojo de Oyasumi? Because I burned through that too, and that series was quite good. And it's a shame that I didn't really give it the full viewing when it came out, the year it came out. But yeah, I've been doing that. Been keeping up with everything. I've been playing a lot of games. You know, playing a lot of shooters. Um, and yeah, hooked up my VR again.
Mhm.
Did that for an hour today. Got motion sick because I haven't touched it in like a year and a half. Um, but yeah, it's been all right. I think this season of anime is panning out pretty well.
Mhm.
Um, there have been worse. Um,
You, you know what
I
kind
think
of like
overall we're looking at a lot of series that are kind of but there are like at least like decently solid ones for me to watch, so I can't really
Mhm.
complain too much.
You know what's kind of unfortunate? The one time, like, I usually, when I see VR stuff, even like right now, it's kind of, for me, um, I kind of just like spectating it rather than spectating other people like playing VR than actually playing it myself. But while I was running, I was thinking it would be really nice if VR advanced quickly enough in the next couple of years to the point where you could just put on VR and then just do a lot of like runs around cities, you know what I mean? Like in Google Earth style almost, or like a drop down in Google Maps, where you can see like 360. I wish you could do that beyond just maybe downloading like the 360 like walk around VR YouTube videos or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah,
I was just
Spire is gonna
like
look like Spire is gonna look like that guy from Lane.
yeah.
He's gonna get the fucking what is it called now? The MetaQuest 3 with its AR tech.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
gonna go on a little run with that.
Yeah, so you can watch fucking Subway Surfer while he's doing his run.
Yeah, so you could run from zombies while he's doing his
Oh
run, and then get motion sick and puke because the tracking's not good enough. But yeah, that's been fun. Other than that, went through the what was it? The Final Fantasy Fan Fest and the Star Citizen like Fan Fest thing. Like theirs. So that was kind of a jam-packed weekend and was quite fun.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's been pretty eventful. And
Pretty good.
you know, wait, what else happened? Oh, something else did happen. Oh, I got shadow banned on YouTube for 24 hours, which is pretty cool. That was interesting. Yeah.
A little bit unfortunate, the last part, but it
Hey
is what it
man,
is.
the long story short, apparently don't speak out against atrocities. Don't comment about them or you too will get banned for 24 fucking hours.
Very unfortunate. But anyways, thank you very much, Dark. What about you, Toast? 2 weeks, please.
I've been binging 2 weeks. I've been binging Iron Chef.
Nice.
The original Iron Chef, not Iron Chef America. It's pretty good.
Mhm. Okay. Anything on the anime side?
Hollow ID got their 3D debuts. That was cool. Zeta, Kyla, and Kobo got their 3D debut. That's cool. Yeah. Niji Sanji got new debuts. I don't know who they are though. 3 of them. I didn't watch them. Oh, and Mori Calliope. Can you believe they commissioned her to do a song, a Metal Gear
I
song
wasn't gonna bring it
for
up.
the Master Collection?
Oh, right. Fuck. Oh, I blotted that from my memory. Why did you do this?
Yeah, you blotted from your memory
Oh.
because you couldn't remember because she was at the sneak point, dude, and it
Yeah.
fucked you up.
Oh
You
my
get it.
She's at the sneak point. She found her bomb, and she
I think
sneaky,
you
sneaky,
mean
sneakyed
Neek
away.
Point?
No,
Yeah.
no, near. Okay, get it right. Everybody found their bomb.
It's
Okay.
true. It's true.
Are we? Can somebody please tell me that they're calling out Mori Calliope in this podcast? If we can't have that this episode, I don't think there's gonna be a next episode.
Hey man, we'll
Honestly,
see.
honestly,
I'm
I
gonna
don't
shout
even.
her out, dude.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Thank
I
Yeah,
you
don't
for
even
Metal Gear
saving
finally
Metal
remember.
has some
Gear.
fucking
Yeah.
good music, bro. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for saving Metal Gear.
Honestly, I don't even remember like her. What is it? Is it the refrain, which is a what is a part of the song that gets repeated every so often? Is it the
Chorus?
refrain?
The
Is it
chorus.
the chorus? Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
think you
don't
mean
even. I
chorus.
don't even remember how Mori Calliope did this sneaky Nikki. All I remember is Mokoko, how Mokoko does it. So I don't remember how she says it, and that would require me listening to the song again. And my honest
And you
opinion of the
don't
song,
want to do that?
I have no. It's not what I wanted. As a as
Wow.
a
What do you mean?
as a fan of Metal Gear, even going so far as to say Metal Gear is one of my formative game series, it's not what I wanted.
You're crazy.
Will it take away from my enjoyment of Metal Gear in the future? No. Will I care in the future? Not really. But it makes me want it all. If they're gonna have more Calliope do this for the Master Collection Volume 1, I want someone else to do a different song for Volume 2. Perhaps Pekora doing a cover of Love Deterrence. Because why not? But yeah, that song, it's not my thing.
Okay. I mean,
Of
I
her,
don't think it's many people's
Yeah.
thing.
Whose thing do you think it is?
well, I've seen mixed reviews on the internet, so do I think Metal Gear fans will like this song?
No.
I
No.
I'm leaning
No.
towards negative.
No.
Will Mori Calliope fans like the song? I guess they do, but
I don't think I don't think Mori Calliope fans have the like capability of disliking
Ears?
something. You know what I mean? Like
Ears?
they kind of just hear something and they're like, I like this.
That's fire.
I've heard this with my ears, so I like this.
I
Alright,
guess
bro.
my hope is that people who my hope that people listen to this song will play the Metal Gear games.
This is like the whole like Guilty Gear Bridge kind of thing.
Yeah,
again.
they're gonna play Metal
Like,
Gear games and then they're gonna be really disappointed when they don't find their bomb.
Yeah, and they don't get to the sneak point.
Yeah, there are literally 0 mentions of the sneak point. They're gonna be like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
But I hope they play the original HD version of this because from what I gathered, this Master Collection has quite a few issues.
The
It's also
Master
just
Collection is the original HD version. It's literally
exactly,
the exact same thing.
and apparently it has less graphical fidelity than 2011 version. Is that what I'm hearing? Also,
I don't see
other slew
how.
of other errors.
It's literally the exact same. Like it's the same like EXE. Like it's the same thing.
But apparently you can choose the ISO files and whether you want to play like the PAL or NTSC regions. Also different voice languages. So I don't know. But apparently MGS1 doesn't even have mouse and keyboard support, which
No,
is pretty jank.
I don't think any of them do they?
I only heard that the first one doesn't have mouse and keyboard support.
I
Oh,
also don't know why in God's name you would ever fucking
yeah. I mean,
do
I don't
mouse
know.
and keyboard for Metal Gear.
True. But
all right. Anything else?
am I gonna play? Am I gonna buy the Master Collection? No, because I already have the HD collection
You can also
Alright.
just emulate them.
with higher graphic
They
fidelity.
probably look better.
I mean, if
I
you
don't know.
buy
Have they
the
ever fixed the emulation for fucking 3? Because I remember 3 used to be like really bad.
I mean, 3 has like a lot of shaders, but I'm sure by now the emulator's been up.
also there's what frame rate issues apparently.
Yeah, that
So
comes with the fact that
So it's a modern
Metal
game.
Gear Solid 3, Metal Gear Solid 3 has a shitload of shaders going on at all times. Like, so
Anyways, I hate to cut off the Metal Gear tangent here a little bit, but thank you, Toast, for your
who's the guy who said they wanted sneaking to be put in like the actual games? But where would it fit in?
I don't think
whoever that
anyone
guy,
wished that evil.
whoever that. I think from
I
now
don't know.
on, I hope Mori Calliope does a cover for your song. It should be a ban word in Twitch chat, probably a
I
banned
will
phrase.
say though, compared to her other collab songs with like uh I
Whatever
don't
you're
know.
about to say, all I'll say is it's a
I'll
very
say
low bar.
One Piece. I guess I like
It's an
Future
extremely
Island
low
better.
bar.
Yeah, I'll say I like Future Island better than Sneaking.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
that's such a
well,
low
I think
bar.
most things are better than it, so.
Anyways, thank you, Toast. What about you, Nier?
I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3,
Ah, nice.
and that's about it. I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3, and I've been playing Mahjong, and that's pretty much all I've been doing
Why?
for the last 2 weeks.
Why haven't you been watching this great season, bro?
I don't know. Maybe because it's shit, and it's full of
It's
not
so good,
things.
he wants to save it for later.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my god. Anyways, unfortunately, and by that I mean fortunately for our channel and for content, you are going to have to cover a series that you watched this
Yeah,
season. So we'll get to
I
that.
certainly watched a series.
You viewed it with your eyes.
Yep. The screen flashed colors in front of my face.
But yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later. But we'll start now. I guess we'll start off here with Dark. What do you have for us?
Oh baby, I've got another Villainous series. Woo! I have the series. I'm in love with the Villainous, or Watashi no Oshi wa Akuyaku Reijou.
Yes.
And
This
so
is web novel original, I think. Yeah,
this
probably
is
web
a
novel
light
original.
novel original.
Okay, okay. So the author was a little bit more cultured, a tiny
Yeah.
bit more cultured.
This is a little tiny tiny bit different here. You might be surprised. This is an isekai in which ordinary office worker Rei Ohashi wakes up in the body of protagonist of her favorite otome game, Revolution. To her delight, the first person to greet her is also her favorite character, Claire
Revolution
Francois.
60.
Yeah, dude, I can't stop thinking about that when they fucking bring it up, and it fucks with me every time. But yeah, Claire Francois, the main antagonist of the story. And now, also the other thing is that the main character's name was Rei Ohashi, but the main character in the game is Ray Taylor, Rae. Um, and yeah, so now Ray is determined to romance Claire instead of the game's male leads. But how will her villainous lady love react to this new courtship? Question mark, exclamation point. Thank you so much, Mal. So that really doesn't explain jack shit about this. But yeah, I mean, the basic premise is what you'd think of like a lot of these villainous series, except this time it's, you know, girls love like romance stuff.
Yeah.
This is being
Isn't this
done
like
by
is it? I
Platinum
mean,
Vision.
isn't that sort of genre also? I mean, obviously there was a lot of it before, right? Even stuff such as Bofuri before. It's not like you had a bunch of uh male characters kind of trying to mac on the girl, right? It's like the cast was mostly girls and stuff like that. And obviously you had what is it, the revolution or whatever, the magic revolution or whatever that thing was, right? With the two witches, or
Yeah.
with the witch or whatever. That was also kind of a similar vein as this, right? If I remember correctly.
I'd have to go back, honestly. I just
Yeah.
remember what
But
you're
it's like
mentioning
an
now.
otherworld
Yeah.
like fantasy thing with like the Yuri theme. Yeah, it's been growing in popularity a decent amount recently.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is being done by Platinum Vision. Um,
Okay.
you may know them from fucking that what is this instrument called? Kono Oto Tomare?
Kono Totomare, I believe, near cover that one. It is.
Yeah.
They did the koto, right? The
Yeah.
koto stringed instrument stuff, right?
Yeah, so you may know them from that, or you may even know them from Karoshi Eye or Servamp.
Okay,
Wow.
the Servamp thing is no bueno. I don't know about the Servamp thing. I like if I made Servamp, I would probably not have that on my resume. Like that would probably not be part of my
Damn, dude,
CV.
that's crazy. But yeah, so this this is what you would largely well, I don't know. So this is a little different from the other Villainous series because obviously the main character is not the Villainous, and is in fact the protagonist, trying to romance the Villainous. So as far as how it pairs up with other stuff, that does lead to some at least like slightly interesting moments slash fun trivia of like the difference between the game's routes and how it like the world space is adjusting to her to Ray going after Claire instead of a male
How do
lead.
they how do they mention how do they how does the anime show the differences between the original game
Um
and what they're going through? Is it just all exposition via words, or like what's happening?
So
Or-
sometimes you'll get exposition via words with Rei. Sometimes you will get exposition / like a visual fantasy of like
Okay.
sort of like the imagined scenario. And then I think a few times, if I remember correctly, and I'm not thinking of something else, I believe in episode 1 they did the shtick of like showing the Otome game being played.
Oh, okay, okay.
As
Yeah,
like
yeah,
as
it's
like
flashback,
the
flashback.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so this is not as heavy yet on sort of like the what happens to Claire, as like with some series are. There are some ends that there are some parts that like it hints at or it talks about, but not really, not as involved as like when it's the villainous like trying to avoid falling into like their endings and stuff like that. It's very much the main character Rei trying to avoid taking actions that lead down the male character route, and winning affection with them. There are some points where she, it does the shtick of her slipping up and winning affection with them anyway, just inadvertently. And yeah, that's kind of it for a lot of it. It has the same sort of world building you would kind of come to expect.
Is there any sort of
So I want to
fantasy
get in,
drama?
yeah, so I will get into that. I don't know if I should get into that first or the casting first / director.
Can you do
Actually, I'll get
casting,
that.
staff, and then
Yeah,
audio
yeah,
visuals
I'll do
first?
that first. Yeah, so this is the main character is voiced by Serizawa Yu. And
Oh,
it's
okay. Pretty
fun,
good.
and she does a nice job. And the ED is quite fun because her singing voice is cute. Then there is Claire is voiced by Nanami Karen, which is also good. She is not a newcomer, but she does not have too many roles.
On the up and up.
But yeah, but what she does is fun. So this is her first main, or no, this is not her first main. She was a main in Love Love Alternative, but
No.
this is her second main. This is so now it looks like from 2021 and 2022 to now, she is going to be getting some more regular work, which is nice as mains at the very least. Also,
Yeah.
this is from Mal, so who knows? She could also be super prevalent in games, but Mal is kind of fucking stupid and doesn't like to credit any of that. Would be nice to have an etc. section, Mal. And then let's see. So other than that, you have the supporting cast: Terakama Aimi, Hikaze Yoko for the sort of what do you call it? Like the sort of like twink boy character, because obviously you have to have your male cast. You have Nana Mizuki as a as of as of right now, not really doing a whole lot.
Wait, this isn't a wait. You the Yu Bauer character that's not a cross-dressing girl, so it's just a literal like kind of like more feminine boy.
Yeah, that's
male
the femboy.
voiced by Hikase Yoko.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
it is. It is quite nice. She does a really good job. You have the maid, which is Hasegawa Ikumi. Minari Sose, she hasn't been in the show very much, Nana Mizuki's character.
Right.
But then you have for like the cool and aloof guy, it's Namikawa Daisuke. Let's see, who do we have for the
Classic.
expanded? Yeah, it's just like you have some great stuff. You have Ken for Rod Bauer.
I don't get these. What are these names? What the fuck is Bauer?
Yeah, they're all the princes,
Rod and-
dude. Thane Bauer and Yu Bauer.
This is so come on.
But yeah, so it's been very fun with a lot of this cast, the kind of you know, kind of going crazy because this is a pretty big cast overall.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a pretty
And
solid A-lister cat or A-lister cast here.
yeah, so that's been pretty cool. They've been putting in great work. The director has been doing a lot of episode directing throughout his life, a lot of storyboarding, but has directed from Platinum Vision, has directed that Dr. Ramune from a little while ago with like the weird medicine thing, which was honestly not a great showing if we're being real here for this fella as far as directing goes. Been doing some real good storyboarding, evidently, though. The storyboarder for D Gray Man 2006, like,
Oh,
dude, let's go. Has done some stuff for, looks like, one episode director for Hellsing Ultimate, a little bit of episode directing for Odd Taxi, some stuff for Eye Shield, Kuroshi Eye director. But yeah, so not great. Though interestingly enough, he is also doing the dating series this season too, that romance series with the Gyaru. What is this called? Our Dating Story? Yeah, Kimi Zero.
Yeah, Kimi Zero.
Yeah, so he is also directing that. So Godspeed and
He's
good
doing
luck.
double duty?
Yeah, he
Okay,
sure is.
It's really weird because it's like, we've had like two of these directors in as many seasons, right? These directors that are doing like double duty on uh, two different series, and it kind of worries me to think that this might become more and more common as time goes on, because as much as there are other staff who obviously make the full anime what it is, and it's not just the director controlling everything and it's just everything's due to the director. That's not the case necessarily, but certainly the director has a important role in directing the anime's vision. And so having them laid out over two series, even if, in some cases they turn out fine, seems to be a little bit of a worrying aspect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's obviously always going to be a concern, right? Because you definitely don't want someone to be that split, and that like overworked, if anything, too. But yeah, I mean, the directing in this is really not bad. Like it's fine. It's standard. It's nothing super standout, which is a little unfortunate, but it's overall series wise, gotta say, pretty good. Probably gonna wind up being his best so far. And I guess like audio visuals are pretty standard to solid, like to pretty good. Has not done anything like super nutty. But as far as the jokey transitions, it gets the job done and is very fun. And just I think visually it's very clean. It is not a ugly series by any stretch of the imagination. So I think that is also quite good. Yeah, and I guess at that I should get a little bit into the more interesting thing that pops up in this series. Roughly, I want to say on the third episode. And I really hope that this series gets more into it. Maybe it will, it's a light novel after all, folks. We're not talking about some 4 coma, all right? We're talking about something you'd have to read for real. And what I'm talking about, is episode 3. They actually have a full-on conversation with the main character. Like her and her friends. The villainess is at the table. The maid is at the table. Her childhood friend in the game, Misha, is at the table. And they have a conversation where I want to say, I forget which character asks the question. But one of them just flat out asks Ray, are you gay? And they have a back and forth conversation where Ray just goes, yeah, I guess I am. And they get into like, which not like, not the most in-depth thing, but talk about how she's like, because they posited some sort of question where they essentially were like, well, like, what if like, what if one of the princes like made their advances for you? Like, surely, like you wouldn't say no to like an offer like that or something, right? And she gets into like, no, like I literally would never be interested in being with a man. And then they get into a small part of which it's like, this series is woke, folks. Of
How does social media
Claire.
take this?
I did not see anything on social media. My social media has been covering something far different. So anime really down on the bottom of the list right now. But it overall, like, I think it was pretty good. They do the thing after where they do like the most basic shit possible where because like, oh, the other thing I should say is that the main character is very much like pursuing and like thirsting for Claire. Right? Like she behaves like borderline, I guess the easy way to describe it, like Kuriko from Railgun, from Raildex. Like that is her borderline behavior to the main character. She's super to the villainess. She's super pursuant, constantly praising her. The villainess is like kind of starting to like go more dare with things. In the beginning, she is very much being the mean girl. And moving on from that, and she's starting to soften up a little bit, though she does want to pursue Thane Bauer because that's her like main love interest in the Otome game. Though with the way she's warming up, not really sure if she's going to wind up ending up with Claire anyway. I think she might. Would be interesting to see that regardless.
But there's not going to be an after story for this, right? It's just going to be
I don't know.
will they,
it's
won't they until the ending?
Hey man, it's a light novel. Who knows, dude?
I guess
like,
yeah.
Books
Light
have
novels
endings,
are a little bit better at the like modern. These like more modern series are slightly better at doing the after story than they were even like 5-10 years ago. Where most of the sorts of like romance aspect, rom-com aspects were very will they, won't they, right?
I think.
But it would be nice if they could get together and then there could be something beyond that sort of hill. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I wonder if that's going to happen, and the reason why I think, this has more of a chance than ever is because of the conversation, like the sexuality conversation. Right? Like having that conversation out there and having the character be like, straight up like, no, I am gay. Like this is what I want. Like this is my orientation.
Yeah.
Like leaving nothing to question. Because again, like we got not really an after story. We got closure that then they ran back because they're fucking pussies, Bandai. But with like Witch from Mercury. Right? But then like this series is like, no, there's no question in this series like of what's going on here. Claire claims to be straight, and this was the very funny typical like conversation where I was like, you know what, it's Japan, okay, so I'll do a little golf clap, like, you weren't bigoted, so congratulations.
Nice.
But the way they explain it is Claire makes an offhanded comment about like, now I'm even more concerned or something for myself because, like this character is very, very lovey-dovey, very touchy-feely, and again, the same way like Kuriko would be in like Railgun or something.
Okay, yeah.
So kind of like a legitimate response, realistically, and like tongue-in-cheek. But then the childhood friend goes, Claire, what you said was really bigoted, actually. Actually, Sweaty. What you said was not okay. And she goes, "You're straight, right?" And Claire goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "Okay, what if what if one of like the princes were like then made a comment about being worried about you just going around molesting them?" And she was like,
Right,
that would
right.
be like abhorrent. Like, what are you talking about? Like, why would I ever do that?" And she's like, "Well, that's kind of what you just did." And then she has a moment of introspection, and then proceeds to take it out on other students that make snide comments to Ray by dumping soup on them. Yeah, so that was kind of a moment. But again, this is a very much like, this is like, Japan being like, like, wow, you're like not being really fucked up about this. Like, you are doing the bare minimum. Awesome.
The
Great.
author
Love to
is
see it.
actually like, yeah, the author
The
is actually
author is,
making
like,
sense of people.
making sense of like some scenarios, like doing like very basic stuff, but it's okay, right? Like, gets the job done. It's a fine moment between characters, and it at the very least leaves nothing to question, which realistically is probably the biggest, like the best thing that you could say, or not the best thing you could say about the series, but probably one of the more notable parts. Because like I said, like even something like Witch from Mercury fucking tiptoed around it, right? Like these clear like series that are supposed to be like girls' romance, but then just like never
Well,
really...
the interviews blew up, certainly, yeah.
Yeah, it's like they never really actually just, why the fuck is this beating around the bush? Like, can we like,
Yeah.
can we fucking have like a relationship here? Like,
Yeah.
can we pick up the fucking pace? So that's nice. Like
It's not like
that
anybody
is
would mind it, really.
No, that's the thing. It's like it's literally just if we had to say, it's just like Japanese, deconditioning at this point to be like, yeah, we can have like a fucking actual gay character and acknowledge that. And so I think that's fine. I think that's good. I think obviously again the conversation was super fucking cheesy, really basic, but nice that it happened. And gonna be interesting to see where it goes from there, because like I said, Claire in episode 4 especially is far more warmed up to Ray, in the fact that she even rejects an interaction with Thane, her main love interest, over her concern for Ray to begin with. So like that, I feel like, who knows where this is gonna go at this point. But the fact that that is out there, I think, is a pretty good sign of actual developments happening. I guess this is also technically a spoiler too. Another part of the conversation that does get into introspection, which I think could be really interesting if they get into it during this series, and also is kind of like, okay, so you get like the author is doing even more with this experience, which also makes me wonder if the author is gay or a lesbian or something. I don't know what the original author is, but I'll have to see
Or
after
just might
this.
have friends around them.
Yeah, or at least like knows like basic aspects of that, or thought about what that experience would be like. Where Ray gets into introspection of like admitting that was kind of like essentially coming out was big for her even in that moment, because in the past that fucked things up for her, because she can be as close, and her explanation was, I'm as close as I want to be when I'm in the closet, right? Like I am really close to these people in the past. Like, and it goes to like a flashback of her in school, like before she, got isekai'd.
Right.
And she's like, I am as close as I could ever be to these people. But then the moment that I like come out and admit it's love, everything changes and I'm shut out entirely. Like that, like total rejection, because this is no longer like a friendship interaction. This is an interaction that not only, she explains like this is not only, this is no longer a friendship. This is something that she wants, something completely different than this other person, who the implication was this other person was straight in her life, would never consider. And then
Right,
that
right,
means
right.
that her sort of bombastic, like lovey-dovey nature comes across way worse, obviously, for this person, or in a
Right.
way different manner. And so I thought that was really interesting. If they get further into that, which it looked like they kind of were, and they are calling back to that in certain scenarios of Claire's sort of more understanding with that situation. So I do hope that they talk about that more. I hope they get more into that because I think that's super interesting to actually see that represented in an anime. Because
I just
I
hope
feel
that
like a lot of
that's
times we don't see it.
yeah, I just hope that that's more the focus and the fear. I haven't read this obviously, but with these series, it's always they have to have some sort of subplot or like setting based like plot in the background, right? Like the king is dying and the eldest son is scheming something, so blah blah blah, and you're just like, all right, all right, this is gonna be like another 4 episodes, right?
Yeah, as
So
of
I
right
hope.
now, there hasn't been really anything like that. It's kind of just been all of the school happenings and interactions have kind of been fueling these interactions and
Mhm.
have been fueling like these character moments. So that's
Okay.
been good. There
Yeah, I think
hasn't
that's
been
a better
anything
focus
that's
for
like,
sure.
yeah, there hasn't been anything that is like that where they're like, okay, now we have to like actually do something for the king or some shit. I'm sure they'll get into that, but it does seem to always be serving character development and character interaction more so than being like, now we need to actually like have this, more strict world building or like plot moment as if this isn't like a romance series and is like a fucking adventure series or something. Or like a rom-com. So that has been also quite good. And yeah, I think this is a very solid series overall. I think it definitely brings something newer to and a little fresher to the Villainous series. I would say this is honestly more enjoyable than last season's Villainous series. I believe it was last season, right? The most what was it called? Like the most abhorrent villainous or some shit. Like like the most evilest villainous of all. What the fuck? I don't even remember the name.
Yeah.
The one with like the red head or whatever. And
It's like the most atrocious or whatever it is.
yeah, like that had like some interesting aspects to it, but ultimately it really was just like every other villainous series, if not the what do you call it, like Death Flag, but like way more dramatic and like no comedy, like no laughs, no fun. This is actually serious, and it's like, well, that
Yeah.
kind of sucks. Like now this is just a really like
No, it's just like complaining, yeah. Just
standard
like
fucking what do you call it, like fantasy series, and it's not
right,
that
right, right,
interesting.
right.
But yeah, I think this offers more, and I think it's quite good. I think that coverage of sort of that, like, um, what do you call it? Growing up experience while being gay, if they get more into that, would be definitely the best part of the series. And I hope
Mhm.
they do get a little bit more into that because
Right.
that'll be fun.
What mall score would you give it? And this one
Um,
is a pretty special one, so.
I'm gonna give it the mall score. I'm gonna give it only the 0.03 more score than what it has on mall. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I'm feeling.
Nice, cause
I'm actually. You know what? I'll do a different scale. I'm feeling. I'm feeling a strong 7 on this one. That's what I'm feeling.
okay,
Strong
cause
7,
this one,
not a light 8, but a strong 7.
this one was a little bit of a special one, cause I was reading through some of the reviews on this series. I'm in love with the villainess, and
I saw
came
you
across
post
this
that,
review.
and I could not read it yet.
Yeah. And I'd like you to read through some of the sections of it because this person was apparently not happy with any part of this series. So, for instance, it's fascinating how fundamentally ontologically bad this series is.
Bro, dude, I read this first paragraph. Bro literally just learned what ontologically means and was like,
Yeah.
listen, I got my SAT coming up. I gotta fucking use
Yeah.
this thing, like,
Yeah.
before I forget.
One half of it, one half of it is that the show belongs to the ultimate villainous isekai subgenre, which is objectively the single worst storytelling device in existence. And then later on,
No.
listen to this. I'm reading this word like verbatim. This is not me making stuff up. So Hamefura got nothing on WataOshi, so Hame flag is the destruction flag or whatever that like a couple seasons ago, right? WataOshi is this one. It's I'm in love with the villainess, I think. So this story loses all sense of purpose before the middle of the first episode. It reminds me of Orwell's 1984, and that if you read the
What?
synopsis and then
This
read
can't
the
be
actual
real.
story, you
I didn't see
find that the story
1984,
gives
bro.
you guys
No fucking shot, dude.
he compared it to
Bro is like the
1984.
it's the calendar. It's literally the calendar meme, except bro like sees a gay person and goes like, "Oh my
I'm
god,
like,
it's 1984."
I'm like laughing so hard, I'm like drooling right now. Hey,
Gay
what is
people in
happening?
media must be 1984.
Yeah.
This is what they
From
were
Yuri, we get
warned by.
yeah. From Yuri, we get the above with the added bonus of it being a lesbian psycho stalker harassing a straight victim until they turn gay. This is so good.
Yeah, again, truly the most fucking like oppressed people, the straighties,
Yeah.
the breeders.
Again, it's amazing how this story hits 3 out of 3 with the most reprehensible themes existing within those genres. I would not be surprised if the later episodes also include daughter-wife grooming and Japanese World War II war crimes denial. In fact, I expect them to do so for tonal consistency. And then later on it says 1 out of 10 for anti-art. So as the audio one of the audiovisual experts in this podcast, Tark, would you say that this series represents anti-art?
Yo, bro has a
Uh,
fucking Neko arc picture. That makes a lot of sense.
God, what
What do
a
you
timeline we
mean,
live
bro?
in.
How does he write fucking a review like
Things.
this and be like, yo, by the way, he's gonna like do this much digging and be like, dude, big fan of Konosuba, big fan of Lucky Star, huge fan of Monogatari, by the way. But my
Oh my
critical eye is
God.
gonna be making some real deep cut accusations here. Some real reaches in this one. And it's like, okay,
Oh
man,
my
you should
God.
really like, dig into your own media for a second here. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, it's a little
listen.
bit
This is a
bit
call out in and
unfortunate.
of itself. Bro is saying all this and he's like, "Oh, yo, my favorite manga by the way is no matter how I look at it, it's you guys' fault I'm not popular." Okay, man, yeah, true.
Oh God, why? Just why?
Truly the
Just
connoisseurs.
why?
Like,
Just
don't get me
why?
wrong.
God damn it.
I think a lot of what they're liking here is solid. But this is some like weaponized fucking, I don't even know. Maybe Bud is still reeling from Megumin coming out on top in Konosuba, because he seems to only have favorited Aqua. So, you know.
Bro, Aqua, just like Amelia,
Bro,
they
oh,
deserve
dude,
to
no
be.
way. Never mind, dude. This motherfucker doesn't matter. Bro gave the new Arknights a fucking 9 and Ragna Crimson an 8. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Bro, it's
Get
about
your
hunting
ass
dragons.
out of here,
Bro, that's
bro.
art. It's about hunting dragons with shiny swords, bro. I don't think you understand.
Jesus
You wouldn't understand
Christ,
because
man.
you're so deep up in that
Yeah,
lesbian
dude,
shit.
the
You
new
just don't
season
get
of
it.
Doctor Stone is truly a 9. As someone who likes Doctor Stone, you're out of your fucking mind if you're throwing out 9s at Doctor Stone.
Oh
Are
my
you insane? Like you're
God. Jesus.
fucking like bonkers. But yeah,
Oh, Jesus.
yeah, that's something else. That review is something else. I don't know what they're doing. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense that that the most reactions to this are funny.
Yeah,
I
it's
forgot
a
that
little
I
bit.
forgot that Maul is fucking actually kind of awesome and added like the Steam reacts to their fucking reviews.
Exactly.
So that's
I just wish
cool.
they had clown for like one of the emotes.
Yeah, they really need. Yeah, they should have had a clown emoji.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But anyways,
this series is quite good. I think at least as of right now it is. Hopefully it keeps pace.
all right. All right. Well, thank you, Dark, for helping to cover again. I'm in love with the Villainess. This also known as Watashi no Oshi wa Akuyaku Reijou. The abbreviated version is WataOshi, I believe. Um, and this is an original. No, this is
It's
a
a
web
light novel
novel.
original.
Uh,
Is it a web novel too?
it started
It
as a
was
web
listed as a
novel.
light novel. Oh, okay.
It started as a web novel. It got pushed to as a light novel like a year after it started up as a web novel, and then it became the usual manga, etc., etc. thing. So yeah, if you want to see a more interesting take and potentially a more sensible take on how kind of these sort of isekai yuri variants form out, then please do check this out. And next on the list, I guess I'll take the lead here. And this is a series that kind of got on social media for a little bit. It became a more of a niche hit, and it is called Butareba. So that's the abbreviation. The story of a man who turned into pig. That's the, I believe, English localization. In the Japanese title is Buta no reba wa Kanetsu Shiro. So heat the pig liver to if you transliterate it. So the long and the short of it is I'll read the premise and then go back into the casting staff audiovisual stuff. Uh, the It's just like a standard. Somebody gets like uh some otaku awakens in the body of a pig after he passes out while eating raw pig liver. Um, and this pig is this otaku now in the body of a pig is in a fantasy isekai world with magic and all this crap. Um, and he finds himself next to a person named Jess, a girl who can read people's minds because she's of a certain race. Um, and obviously that means that she can read the main protagonist's mind and thoughts, even though he is a pig. So then they get along together and they go out and on their journey because Jess is going on a slightly dangerous journey. And along the way, they meet all sorts of people and more and more mysteries about the world, and of course, Jess herself are uncovered. And sort of the end goal for the otaku slash main protagonist turned pig obviously is to turn back into human. So that's sort of the long and short of it. And then it's kind of like a mix of a journey plus isekai plus slow life ish mixed with a little bit of drama kind of thing. It's a very standard. In my opinion, I think the core is a little bit more of a journey slash slow life series, but again with the lore of the world mixed in, but it's not much more than that. The staffing is essentially uh, s- the animation production is project number 9. You guys might know this from stuff like uh, bottom tier character Tomozaki, stuff like the Angels Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, as well as some of their more infamous stuff such as Tenshi no Sanpi, Angels 3-piece, as well as Rokubyu, and some of the other stuff as well. They've obviously worked recently My Sister's Unusual. They've obviously worked in between for a lot of stuff as well. uh the team for this is essentially the director and the character designer behind The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, director in Takahashi Masayuki, as well as the character designer, I believe, in Watanabe Susumu. They have gathered underneath them a mix of subcontractors from a 3D CGI studio called Wired, as well as some background art stuff called um, Design Office Mechamen, plus some general industry veterans. They've collected them together to create this series. Overall, I guess this is a pretty stable, I would say, staff casting. The audiovisuals are pretty decent. It's like nothing stand out, but palettes and the visual quality are workable and serviceable. And nothing to kind of grimace over or anything like that. So pretty good. The opening is watashi ga warau ryu wa, or also known as The Reason Why I Laugh by Asuka, and the ending is Hitori janai yo, or also known as I'm Not Alone by Miyuk. Neither of them are very standout. I kind of listened to them and I was just like, oh, okay, this is very standard kind of stuff, like anime song stuff that you would just get for some, White Fox or Silver Link or any other kind of very standard isekai romcom kind of thing. Um, Although this is more of like a soul life, so it kind of, I guess, it did fit better than maybe Yoasobi did for Free Ren, but that's not a very high bar now, is it? So that's more or less how the audiovisual is. The casting is pretty good right now for the voice acting cast. It is Yoshitsugu Matsuoka as the main character slash pig, and he goes up, down, left, right, and everywhere, just like through the roof, down into the ground. Just he is very, because he's uh, much like a lot of these other recent non-human protagonists in an isekai series, like Vending Machine Isekai, like Sword Daddy Isekai, a couple of others. The point is that they are supposed to help bring in this comedic bent while also still being able to be the protagonist, right? Go through all these introspections and be serious when the story turns to a more serious bent. So they have to balance this whole, being a pig or being a vending machine or being a sword with the rest of the plot of the story. And in that sense, I think Matsuko Yusuke obviously does a very good job. I think he he really balances the seriousness and the or switches back and forth between the seriousness and the comedic bent very, 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 very well. And obviously that was a thing for him when he was doing villain roles, right? For instance, in Licorice Rico, when he was doing that one like psychopath guy in like the main villain of the series, right? So I think he does a very good job switching moods and switching tensions, perhaps even more so than somebody like Fukuyama Jun, where obviously he does everything very well. Fukuyama does everything very well, but I think his voice when he's acting these series out always has a slightly more comedic bent um, than people might be expecting, which is not bad, but obviously then the anime becomes more and more and more like constantly comedic instead of being serious at sometimes and being funny at other times. So I think again, Matsuko Yusuke does a very good job with that. The Obviously there are other characters coming down the list, all very most of them like standard A-listers, right? Mamiko Noto Mamiko, Ito Kento, Tomita Miyu, right? Uh, Again, very standard A-listers. And of course, the heroine is voiced by the famous voice actress who has now come out of hiatus due to, recovering from her, I believe, surgery, right? Or illness, I believe. It is none other than Kusunoki Tomori, right? So she has come back, and for this one, she is doing a voice that is about as high as, a couple atmospheres up. She is doing a falsetto to end all falsettos. And I think that, she obviously does a good job because she is a very capable voice actress, but it is definitely a slight change of pace from um, some of her previous roles. Although obviously she has had experience with this sort of stuff before. So overall, very satisfactory voice acting cast, along with, again, as I mentioned, the veteran staffing for the series. Now, what are the 4 episodes of Butareba like? So, again, I know that there is a little bit of a fuss over this series because the part of the pig's dialogue, right? So, a lot of times the pig's dialogue, when the author is trying to flesh out sort of the rom-com fantasies portion of the web novel or the light novel, is the pig going like, "Oh man, uh like Jess has a skirt that frills, that flutters in the wind, and here and there maybe you can catch a glimpse of the white panties underneath," or like he goes on these like very elaborate monologues that are obviously supposed to how do I say that, eke out some value for those people who are reading or watching this stuff, expecting a little bit more of a standard isekai slow life bent. And I know some people were a little bit miffed over this. I personally am kind of just like, oh yeah, this is like very standard structure at this point, so I'm kind of whatever on it. But I think there is a major flaw yet that this series doesn't deal with very well, even within the context, even within the structure of a standard isekai series. And what I think its major flaw is that the series focuses on the lore too much and not enough of the characters. And I don't know whether that's just the anime's fault or whether this is sort of how it is in the light novel or the web novel as well. But the characters are just like, if you had to describe the nuance and the reason why like things are happening and what the characters are like to each other and predicting how they would interact with each other organically within the context of the story, it would be a little bit hard to do so because the pig, the main character, is sort of, again, just he's just he has this like lucky skibbe kind of like pervert moments, but for the most part, he's just like a very general, nice guy who helps out and sees the girl, sees the damsel in distress, and goes, "No, I must help her," or whatever. There's really not much there. And the actual sort of general character and philosophy of that pig is not really elaborated much on in 4 episodes. And you might say, oh, it's just 4 episodes, but you have to think that's already 1/3 of the season gone. 2 more episodes of, dilly dallying or maybe another mini arc or the two getting chased down the alleyways, and that's already half the season gone. And they haven't really gone into the main character really at all. And I think it's similar with the main heroine, where her personality itself is just like, oh, I'm just shy, and I'm eventually gonna unspool all my secrets, but I wish I could just find a prince in shining armor that I could trust. And then obviously, the more and more she trusts the pig, the more and more the main character inside the pig kind of becomes the object of adoration for the girl, right? But you might say, okay, well, there are other parts in the story where she's talking and she brings up and she advances the story. But I would say that the parts of the story where she's continuing her journey and where her race, her previous deeds lead to um, these mini arcs that the main character and the heroine have to solve, those are that is much more heavily part of the lore, like her being of a certain race, and that race being, hunted down or whatever, or like she now has to dodge people because of problems with quote unquote problems in society with her race, or her having this, these sorts of needs, and then them doing like a mini arc on it. um these sorts of like she needs these sorts of materials to do like magic tricks or whatever it is, and that leads into a mini arc. These are all primarily ideas that propagate the world building, the lore, the background setting of the story, of the world in the story, and not really the character personally themselves. And that's what kind of disappoints me, because I think the story sure can move forward just mainly by them journeying around and seeing how that sort of world building pans out from the author. Like, oh, what happens when all these people are persecuted because of their race, and then these things happen, and then what happens if you steal this magic thing and then use it here, whatever it is, right? um I think obviously a story can be advanced using that like world building lore, but I would still like to see more character building, like personal traits, personal responses to things from the main character or towards the main character, instead of just, oh, these are all happening because my race was, I'm a secret race of people who are always persecuted, and then I have XYZ and the other thing. And again, that's much more world building specifically for the story than it is your character or how the girl is going to interact or how the pig is going to interact. So I was pretty disappointed because the characters were middling, and a lot of the sort of quote unquote good parts of the story came from the lore. So I always am a proponent of prioritizing the characters first before, you fleshing out the world in full. But it's a flaw that I think really kind of makes this anime very, very vanilla, and it's very unfortunate to see it go that way. So, but yeah, that's sort of all the major point I had about Butareba. The lore is relatively strong, but the characters are kind of they're not detached from the lore, but they don't really add anything to the lore. They don't add anything to the storytelling while the lore is being elaborated upon. So I think that's a very fatal flaw of the series. Um, what would I? That's pretty much all I have for Butareba. There's like not that much to talk about. It was a little bit disappointing, but not in the ways that some people mentioned in on social media. It's a little bit just more of the fact that the story wouldn't go anywhere if it wasn't for the fact that magic needs to exist in a certain way, or um, certain races are being persecuted, and then it's always like that sort of talk in every episode. Um, as for the Mal score, what would I give it? Uh, I think I would give it a 4 because I think trying to make a story like this where you're very so like almost crutch levels of heavy depending on the world's lore to write out your stories for you while having weak characters. I think that's definitely something that I would consider slightly below average. And so I can't really give it anything higher than a 5. So I will give it a 4. But yeah, that's sort of all I really had about Butareba. There wasn't anything like much deeper or anything like that. It was mostly just the girl and the pig traveling around, and then during the travels, various things happen. So that's all I had again for Butareba. Again, this is a novel. This is a I no, this is originally a web novel original, came over to a light novel, and then again went through the standard treatment, manga, anime adaptation, stuff like that. So the full title, localized, is The Story of a Man Turned into a Pig, Butareba, Buta Liver, also known as the Pig Liver, also known as Butareba, also known as Buta no Reba Kanetsu Shiro. So if you do like kind of um like having the hero and like I guess the cute hero and just like kind of just following the pig around and the pig because he's a Japanese protagonist, he can think of smart plans on the spot. If you like seeing that sort of stuff, and plus add on the isekai slow life stuff, I guess please do check it out. But I wouldn't say it's very special. And again, there's sort of a gapping hole in the middle that kind of makes it a little bit of a problem. So, but yeah, that was my review for Butareba. And now we will move on to Toast. Toast, what do you have for us?
You forgot to answer the most important question, Spire.
What?
How strong is the pig boy?
He is literally just like a regular, or I think he's even just like yeah, he's like a regular sized pig. That is literally he has no
Look,
superpowers other than it just being a regular pig.
can he beat Silver Crow in a fight? He's also a pig, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. that's such a fucked up reference, man.
I'm
Unfortunately,
I'm
I
trying
don't
to
think
think
he
of
can.
other pigs in anime.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
won't off
yeah,
the top
yeah.
of my
You're right though. Uh, I don't think he could beat Silver Crow. I think that's a little bit of a long shot. But yeah,
What about
anyways,
what's his name? What's that guy's name? Uh,
you're about to pit this pig against the parents of Spirited Away who have turned
Oolong.
into pigs. What?
Can he beat Oolong?
I don't, I don't think so. He is a very, very regular pig. So,
You
anyways,
remember who Oolong is, right?
uh,
From Dragon Ball.
yeah. Anyways, Toast, your series, please.
My series, not great. Not,
Shouldn't
it's
you have
not.
just gone with S-Ring Adventure? S-Ring Daughter, sorry.
No, I
No,
wanted to get this out of the way. For
you had to cover MF Ghost or Overtake.
yeah, I did MF Ghost.
Yeah, okay.
And if you don't know what MF Ghost is, it's the sequel to Initial D. And
Yes, sir.
while Initial D was fantastic, MF Ghost is not it, Chief. It's
Well,
not it.
is is it well? Okay, let's start with. Can we just go over the audio visuals at least first a little bit?
Uh, oh, oh, that's a weird way to start, but okay. I mean, audio. I guess the cars sound like cars. What do you want me to say? I believe the sound effects for each car is correct,
Is the
as it
OST
will
good?
be. I mean, it's got Eurobeat. Not all the driving is in Eurobeat though. I believe they brought back Move for some of this. And if you know who moved, they're the big Initial D boys.
Okay.
Because the opening is Jungle Fire, sung by Move and Yu Serizawa. I don't know who Yu Serizawa is. She sounds important.
Yeah, very, very just like random person that nobody else mentioned in
Yeah,
this
but
podcast.
she voices a character that appears in the anime. So I guess two for the price of one.
Nice. Um,
Jungle Fire is pretty
so
good.
for your mention of like the Eurobeat OST and whatever stuff like, I'm guessing that this series is, or at least this anime adaptation, excuse me, not even the series. This adaptation is meant to mainly appease the initial D or people who had read MF Ghost before and just catered to them instead of kind of trying to interpret MF Ghost in a way that would
Everyone knows that
make.
Initial D was the most important part of or that Eurobeat was the most important part to Initial D, and they brought it back for this. So
Mhm.
good on them, I guess. That's the vision. So when it's got Eurobeat, it's fine. I think. Sure. I don't know. Not a lot
What are
has
the
happened
others? Is it
in the
like
Force.
jazz or something?
Regular. It's
Hmm?
regular. It's not like
No, it's
what
just
is it?
okay.
It's not like Initial D Legend where I don't know what genre of music that was, but it was in Eurobeat, Chief. It looked good, but didn't sound good. But yeah, that's the audio. The visuals, uh, what to say about the visuals? Kinda looks like the manga. And if you know what I'm talking about, the manga's if you're not talking the cars, the character portraits are kinda whack. And that's in a light way to put it. The author definitely has a unique style, and it's kind of portrayed in the anime. So do what you want with that. Oh, another thing I noticed that is this apparently I checked this out. This is also prevalent in the manga, mainly because the author is not exactly in good health. But when they have some shots of real life images of real life areas in the apparently in both the anime and the manga, kind of looks like they just took a screenshot and added some filters to it. Cause it's definitely jarring, and it's like, hold
They
on,
probably did.
Is yeah,
it's hyper
is this like a
realistic.
smaller team? This is probably a smaller team too, right?
What for the manga or the anime?
The
Because
anime.
I can't blame the anime for that because apparently this is a thing in the manga, so they just lifted it off of like what
Oh,
Google
really?
Images, and it's like okay, here it is, and I'm like, because when they were visiting some like shrines, there were some shots of I believe they were Oni, and that they looked too hyper realistic to be hand drawn. So it's like, hmm, yeah, you just dolled up some screenshots, huh? But yeah, I guess that's a negative if you want to put it that way. Me, I don't really care because it's not about the background. It's about the racing, right? So getting all
So
that
how much
aside,
how much how much did you expect, or how much did you want
I
in terms of just like the racing stuff going on in
all right. So
MF
let me
Ghost
go into
before the
this.
release?
MF Ghost was announced what several years ago. How long has
Hmm.
MF Ghost been out? And I was not sold on the initial summary of it.
Hmm.
And you know what? I was right. Because initially, this is not. But we should go back to what the we should go back to what MF Ghost is. Initial D, the whole thing was about a bunch of street rats doing street racing, illegal street racing at night. To become the fastest in is the Kanto region, whatever the fastest street racers in Japan or something or in one area something like that. And you know the Project D. You know what the D in Project D stood for, right?
Wait,
Drift.
what was it?
No,
Oh, gee.
stood for Project Dream. I don't know what. I still don't know what Project Dream stands for. It was supposed to like uncover like young talented drivers and make them super cool. Yes,
Mhm.
something like that. And what apparently MF Ghost is it's the next step of Project Dream, but it's not it's not straight racing anymore. It's now certified competitive racing. Apparently,
So, like, other than the standard, the sort of lore changes, right, between Initial D and now, have you noticed any other sort of modern era retro, like fitting kind of writing in MF Ghost?
well, you like drones, Fire? You
Oh,
like
right, the drone stuff that was in the PV
drones
as
in here
well.
because apparently they're going eco-friendly now. Because
What?
because this is what
What?
internal combustion cars. Who cares about that anymore? You have to be eco-friendly. No more
What's
street.
eco? What's eco-friendly
I
about
don't
Wait,
drones?
I don't know. And battery powered, man. And I don't know anything about cars, but
so
apparently
are they driving electric cars?
I believe they are. I don't know anything about cars, so someone's gonna someone later on can fill me in. But the whole thing started about, oh, we got to reduce the emissions and whatnot, and I guess that's part of it. Sure. But anyway, the whole thing about MFG, which I guess the G stands for ghost because it's in the title. So
Yeah, I've always wondered why is it named MF Ghost?
why is it called Project D? But yeah, so
So what does MF stand
I don't know. Who knows?
for? Okay.
It's
Most
it just
Most
good,
it's just
fastest.
most fast ghost. Yeah. Anyway, so it started the if you remember, it started by Takashi Ryo, who you know, famous Takahashi brothers, and the founder of Project D. So this is his next project, and it's not Project D at all. It's like this competitive race thing. The
yeah.
big difference is that instead of driving at night, they're driving during the day as like official sanctioned tournament things and whatnot. So that's a point off from me. Apparently, there was an eruption on Mount Fuji, so now there's sulfuric gas like
Okay.
dotting
What?
dotting the
It's like the
town.
Pokeball, like legendary
I, don't,
Pokeball
I
catcher
have
kind
no
of
idea.
thing.
It's eco-friendly, you know. So there's a
No.
part of the proceeds go from MF Ghost go to people hit by the Mount Fuji eruption. What? I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay.
But yeah, that has nothing to do with it. If you remember like how Project D went, right? It's hey, we're street racers. We're gonna challenge your team, and we're gonna set the fastest course on each of these areas, right? Usually, there's uphill and a downhill driver, and the goal is to beat them and set a time that none of them can beat, right? That was the whole thing of Project of Initial D. But this one is more of a time attack race. So like this, the first four episodes is a qualifying round of a time attack of one race, one racetrack. So like out of 300 racers, the top 15, the top 15 will go to the actual race and whatnot.
So it's not
And
even an actual race.
this is the qualifiers. Like the actual race started at the end of episode 4, which is currently the latest episode.
Right.
But yeah, so to ensure fairness of all the races, because there's only like one main rule for like any car that enters. You have to have you have to. It's like you have to have this certain specific weight to tire grip ratio or something, like an even balance on your car. But other than that, it has to be like this preset this like preset number. Like all the cars has to be tuned to this specific like balance. But other than that, anything is fair game. So like you can use any car you want. So I'm also gonna dock a point for that because Initial D was the whole thing about, hey, it's all about the JDM, the Japanese domestic market, right? So we're gonna showcase all these cool Japanese cars, and like we're gonna throw in a Supra and a GT every now and then. But in this one, it's like apparently the top racers all use European like supercars. So the the main character, what's his name? What is that guy's name? Kanata Katagiri. He's using an old GT 86 because get it 86. It's a Hachiroku,
Uh-huh.
so because you have to do it, and apparently it's a crappy ass car, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the whole thing about Initial D was, hey, here's this Toyota Troino, and it's gonna beat all the supercars because Takumi is a gifted downhill specialist, and he knows how to beat someone in a race. But for MF Ghost, you have to do both an uphill and a downhill, so it's like, where's the point in using an old ass GT86? Apparently for the time period, if you have to do both uphill and a downhill, where is the specialization? How can Kanata beat someone like all these fancy new European sports cars into that clunky old thing? It doesn't really
He
make
just
sense to me.
drives, man.
Well, I mean, there would you have to. I mean, Takumi could make up for it with his driving skill, but in this one, I don't really see how Kanata. We haven't seen how Kanata's driving skill really did anything. The only worthwhile thing he did in his qualifying race was, he did. Well, it's not really a spoiler. Is it a spoiler? I don't care. He did Takumi's famous four-wheel drift because spoiler alert, he's the student of Takumi, who's become a legendary racer over in England. So he taught Kanata how to drift, but that's like the one thing he did. It's not even that cool. With Takumi and Initial D, he had he did some cool moves. Like in episode one, everyone knows the inertia drift. That's the famous one, and the gutter drift. So far, Kanata hasn't done any of that, but I can also attribute that to a majority of episode like 1 and 2
Mm-hmm.
was just his time attack, and it's kind of
Okay.
boring. It's it was kind of boring because it's just him doing a time attack. He wasn't racing anyone, so it's just his car going down, just like racing this track. And the whole cool thing about Initial D was it was the races were personal because they were one on one with the rival team in a dogfight. And so far, this one doesn't have that because it's a time attack. So
Okay.
he's racing alone. He has to reach this qualifier, get to the top 15 in order to get to the real race. And I made a joke like a couple of days ago when I was watching this. I was like, "Is this why they call this MF Ghost?" Because you know, in racing games when you're racing by yourself, the only person that you race against is like the ghost AI, right? Like in Mario Kart, you race your ghost in order to get faster times. So
Yeah.
he's racing ghost cars, and they even mention that during like the last stretch of the qualifying race. It's like, oh, he's gotta beat these other cars, and like, no, your crappy GT86 doesn't have good power, so all the other cars will make up for it here. And then they show like the ghosts of other racers like out on his tracks, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's why it's called MF Ghost. So yeah,
Yeah, but that sounds like probably one of the worst ideas for a fucking racing series. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't know, man. Like time attacks, like ghosts, like
I
ghosts.
mean,
Fucking
I feel like the only way you could make that interesting, right, is if you went really deep into like the car autism, right?
yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I don't know how it
Initial
could be.
D's always had that, but like,
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the entire race isn't even about like a race at that point, right? It's about just like, look at this car,
Talking
look at
about
how fast it
cars.
goes. Like, look at
Yeah,
like
here's
talking about
why.
It's
how many
Hot Wheels.
fucking
It's Hot Wheels.
how many cylinders it has and how the grip,
The
you know,
rims.
wheel fucking how the tires like grip the fucking road or whatever, and you know how well the chassis handles turning at a steep like fucking angle or whatever. Like it just like sheer like as autistic as you can possibly be, right? Because otherwise,
You're a nerd. Yeah.
you know, he's not racing anybody, right? He's literally just going fast. And I don't really know how interesting to make that. Like I get that there's the race uh later on, but the fact that you're 4 episodes into this series, this racing series, and there hasn't been a real race, I think is not a good sign at all, right? Like
I mean, I think that's the fault of the design of the qualifier, because they're all like, oh, they made a big deal about, oh, there's gonna be like 300 racers and only the top 15 get to qualify. And so, like, okay, here's 300, here's a time attack, but then when we get to the actual race, it's just 15 of them, because I guess that makes sense. You don't want like 300 cars going up against each other. It's not good. But yeah, I mean, you talked about car autism, right? Well, they have, if they're gonna throw in like 15 racers at the start, like just at the start of the actual race, it's kind of it doesn't really give them that much time to shine unless they're like a supercar fanatic. Because in Initial D, it was one on one or 2v2 if you want to throw in a Takashi Keisuke in there because he does the uphill. So you get to learn about like the RX-7, the Trueno, and then the rival team's two cars. So you get to learn about them more personally. But in this one, you got 15 other racers right off the bat, and you have to learn about them. So there's not much of a connection that you feel between all that. Because I can list off the other rival teams, the Night Kids. Hell yeah, was it Nakazato and his, what is it? Is his GTR? No, his R32. Wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it was his Nissan Skyline GTR, and then oh, what is it? Drifting is for kids. I'm just gonna power through, and then dumbass double crash guy, also from Night Kids, and his gum tape deathmatch. So there won't be any of that in this series, I can tell,
Yeah, that's the one really good thing.
because you have to drive cleanly, because you have the only rule is that the power to weight ratio is standardized on everyone, but also like the conditions of each race.
Right, that's gonna be a
The
pain.
conditions of each race is really specific. So you have to showcase your driving skills and your car, but like some cars are way more powerful than the others because of how you because you only set this one rule, and you try to even the playing field by, oh, we're only gonna race during sunny days. When it's raining, nope, no car will get this advantage. And I'm like,
Kind
that's
of
not
lame.
very cool. It is pretty lame because remember one of the races initial D, where was it the cappuccino race, and then at the when it was raining, they're like, oh, I wanna beat the 8-6 downhill because I'm a what is it? I'm a rain specialist because of the cappuccino, and that was a cool race. There's no really themed races in this so far. Well, I can't like so far of what I've seen. No theme, so everyone's on the same playing field. This really doesn't feel like initial D at all. It's straight up toge racing, reminiscent of other like sports car series like Wangan Midnight and something else. It doesn't really. This series really does not have that initial D feel that made it unique. But yeah, so, well, Garrett, yeah, I'm not. This series isn't for me. It's not cool. It's not cool, man. What else? Like, if you want me to talk about the characters, there's like two-bit Takumi character personality, which was a Kanata Takagiri. He's kind of like Takumi, but he's part British, so he says English words in between. And
Right.
I'm like,
This is
okay. And there's
yeah.
also some weird subplot about how he's into why he came to Japan. But do you want me to talk about it because it doesn't really seem that important so far.
No, just let people watch it
It's
later.
yeah, it's, yeah. He came here for a purpose, but it wasn't MF Ghost. But apparently, it's because he was trained by Takumi. He entered MF Ghost. So, I mean, that's not good. I don't think that's good writing at all. If you're gonna have if you're gonna have like a racing series, at least have the person like racing or be connected to racing in some way. But his main plot point of coming to Japan has nothing to do with racing at all. So it's not that good. Then what is it? I guess the main heroine is voiced by Ayane Sakura. Yes. What's her name? Ren Sayonji, because you know what's the what's that guy? What Kanata is a he's a foreign exchange student, so he has to live with his foreign exchange family, and I guess that's what Ren Sayonji is. She's some chick voiced by Ayane Sakura who gets into
Mhm.
a weird who gets into a weird relation like this love relationship with him for
Like
the
with
sake of
good
having
wording.
a
Yeah.
love relationship, and
Mhm.
she's also secretly one of the race queens of MF Ghost. I don't know how this works into it, but like to be fair, the author of Initial D really really sucked at writing relationships. 'Cause you remember that? You remember that chick from Takumi's first love interest in Initial D? Whatever happened to her? That's right. No one cares.
Mhm.
Like she was
Yeah, I mean, she's
there.
not a car, so
She was there. She did things.
Not a car sexual.
This author's main writing of male to female relationships, isn't good. So I don't really care. She's just
Mhm.
there, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, the
Uh,
only the only good the only good female character is the one voiced by Serizao Yu,
mhm.
which is what's her name? Yes, some chick, but she's part of the top 15 racers, so that makes her way more important than any than the main heroine herself, which sucks because you can draw a parallel of this chick to what is it, Blue Impact Blue, right? Do you remember Impact
Mhm.
Blue? It's the two racing chicks.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I guess she's the equivalent to them. What really sucked is Impact Blue did nothing to this series after like they nothing happened to them in Initial D, and that sucks. So I hope this new chick who's actually good at racing does something impactful in this series,
Mhm.
but I don't.
Yeah.
Considering this author's writing style with women, I don't think anything will happen.
Hey, you
But
never
yeah,
know. It is
I mean,
2023,
I
but
hope.
yeah.
You want to talk? Oh, you want to bring up 2023?
No,
You want to
that's
bring up 2023 because there's this one
The
character that's
current
really
year.
this one character that's really jank in MF Ghost that I saw on the wiki that kind of weird. It's kind of not okay, dude. I'll just say this guy has a 17-year-old fetish.
Oh, okay, okay,
What?
okay.
He only likes 17-year-olds. If you turn 18, you're out.
Damn, bro, that's
Okay.
crazy.
Don't worry, he's 21, so it's okay.
No, I don't think that's
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
that counts. I think that's still
Yeah.
Don't worry, man, it doesn't count. He wrote Rurouni Kenshin, all right?
Yeah.
Here,
So
let me let me pull up the wiki article for
mm,
you. There you go.
I get yeah.
Anyway, but yeah,
That's
where am I going with this?
any last words plus mouse score, I guess.
Jungle Fire is pretty good opening. Sung by
Mhm.
Move with There's How You. It yeah, it definitely hits the initial D opening notes for
Would
me.
you recommend this series to other former or I guess the former initial
So
D watchers?
as an initial D fan who specifically like initial D because of like how personal each battle, each dogfight felt between the racers. From what I've seen so far of like first four episodes, I don't think we'll get that because it's gonna be like, oh, this person in this place is racing, is going to be dogfighting this person in this place, and then when they pass them, it's gonna be fighting another guy like who's in front of him, or these people are gonna be fighting over here, like in these places. It definitely is. I definitely won't remember any of the other guys' faces at all from this series, so no, I don't think I can recommend people who like Initial D for like the personal dogfights, the 1v1s. It's not gonna be 1v1s, it's gonna be like 3v1s, 4v1s, or 1 versus 14. I don't know how math works. But yeah, MF Ghost is a disappointment to the series. It took away the what people love about Initial D, like the street racing, and just made it regular racing. I'm not feeling this one, Chief.
Would you rate it?
What am I going to rate it? I like the Euro beat. What's my average score? 7, right? I'll give it a 6. 6 out of 10.
Damn, that low.
I'm not even talking about like
Yeah, I mean that is damning.
I'm not even talking about how like the art style because the art style's kind of jank, but hey man, it's the author's style. I'm not going to dock points, but it's the initial D point two that we're not that initial D 2.0 it is not. And also small spoiler, I how dare you? It's supposed to be a sequel to Initial D, but the only ones that are prevalent is oh hey, Takahashi Ryo. This is his new Project D now, and that's it. That's it, I guess. Cool. Hey, you remember that guy who did the famous Urohozaka jump against Takumi? Apparently, he's a coach and he's also a part-time announcer for MF Ghost. So hey, you remember that guy? The crazy guy who did a jump, could have broken his suspension multiple times? Yeah, he's there. Sure, cool. You remember that guy? Yeah. It's trying to bank on initial D nostalgia and not very good at it, man. Because you're not even showing us the cool characters. How dare you not? How dare you bring up Takumi's student but not show Takumi himself? But yeah, I'm just rambling on and on. I don't like MF Ghost. How dare you? He Kanata hasn't even shown us cool techniques yet. No gutter drifting, nothing. How dare you? That's it. Don't watch MF Ghost if you like Initial D.
Alrighty.
All right.
Or
Well,
do. I don't care.
I will take Spire's job then. And next up, we have a very special
Yeah.
show here. Very near and dear to Near's heart. What do you have for us, Near?
How do I even pronounce this? I watched KamiErabi. I think that's how you say it. God.app. Also just known as KamiErabi. Who made this fucking thing? Studio. This is a Studio Unend production. What have they made? This.
The fact that I was gonna
They
say,
made this.
I have never heard of them, so this is a
This is the only thing they've
very
made.
exciting.
This is a action survival game series. Fully CG, and it is got the absolute privilege of being marketed as a series created by Yoko Taro. Which I can tell you right now is a complete fucking lie. Yoko Taro, I believe, is only credited as like the initial concept, and in terms of like actual writing, series composition, like script and stuff, it's apparently written by Jin, who I believe is a musician. Like I think he's like a lead singer or something. He's done like theme songs, and arrangements and compositions for a few things. I think Makaku City was one of the main things that he was in charge of. But yeah.
That's also a very good sign.
Yeah, it's a good sign.
Go on.
Makaku City. I mean, the Makaku City actors and Makaku City Records was definitely not really the best marks to have in your career, I guess. Directed by Hiroyuki Seshita. What has he done? He did Ajin, I believe. Let's see what else he's done. Yeah, Knights of Sidonia, Ajin, the like all CG Godzilla movies, the Blame movie. Yeah, I think is it the same general staff as Ajin? No, I don't think so. But yeah. Other than that, I feel like a lot of staff isn't too much to like really write at home about. I think the music, done by Monaka, is quite good. I think Keiichi Okabe is part of that group, and you can definitely hear that influence in this. As for the series itself, like I said, this is a survival game series, and with the survival game series, I feel like you really know what you're getting into, and you really don't get anything special out of this. The basic synopsis is the main character, named Goro Ono, is a bit of a loser. He's a bit of a lame dude. And one day he sees this app open up on his phone, and it says he's chosen to become a god and to sort of speak your wish into the phone. He speaks his wish. It's a bit of a sleazy, sort of perverted thing. And then all of a sudden, he's sort of plunged into this survival game where he has to fight for his life against all these other candidates. And that's really, truly shocking stuff.
So Near, hold on a sec. What color is he?
He's blue.
Which blue? There's two blues.
He's like I guess, sort of like a teal blue.
The
I don't
dark
know.
blue or the lighter blue?
He's the darker blue one.
Okay, because the picture you showed, they all have gender neutral outfits, so the only
Yeah.
way you can tell is through their eyes and hairstyle.
He's the one at the top of
Okay.
the picture. Yeah, he's blue, and
So he's the KamiErabi, huh? He's the God app. I got you.
yeah.
So wait, so what I'm gathering is Yoko Taro literally went, "What if phone offered to make you a god?
Pretty much.
What if an
Yeah.
app popped up?" And then they
Yeah.
gave him a check and he went on his way.
Pretty much. I really don't see, like, the only way I can see Yoko Taro's name being attached to this in any sort of, I guess, meaningful way is if he also sort of contributed to some sort of, big dramatic plot twist that happens, maybe like 2/3 of the way into the series. But otherwise, he basically was just like, yeah, what if you guys had like a survival game? But they were fighting to become God, which, by the way,
Not just Tower of
is
God.
it's effectively just what was that series I covered that was by the Death Note author that was literally just a
Mount
survival
Deathloop?
game. No.
Kojima's contribution to Castlevania Lord of Shadows.
I mean, yeah, that is basically what Yoko Taro did. Let me see. What is this called again?
He walked in one day like, hey, that's cool. Then he left.
Platinum End. That's what it was called. Yeah, Platinum End was basically a survival game, where like actual angels came down, to like pick the candidates to become, the next god. This one is just an app on your phone, and then like after he sort of opens the app, he gets this little imp thing that follows him around, named Lal. She's voiced by Sakura Ayane. She's pretty cute.
Hey, that's 2 for 1 this season.
And assumingly all of the other candidates have their own little imp as well, question mark, but none of the others have shown up. And like there's like 4 episodes of this series out right now. I watched
Wait,
2
there are 4 episodes and no other characters have shown up?
Well, the other characters show up, but like I mean like the imps, like the other
Oh,
characters'
okay.
imps, like
Even they
like
haven't. Like,
so there's like no evidence that any other character has like an imp or anything, because he talks to her, right? And no other character has sort of had any sort of like, obvious discussion with themselves. So it's not like the imps are just invisible and, the main character can't see them. It kind of just seems like he's the only one with like a weird little imp creature following him around, which is a bit odd. But yeah, there are 4 episodes of this out right now. I watched like 2.5. I genuinely couldn't stomach it any further. And within the first 2.5 episodes, in the first episode, it sort of immediately sets up the survival game thing. He gets attacked by this girl named Sawa. She's the red girl, and her power is if she sticks a knife into a piece of meat, whether that be a human body or a fucking piece of steak, literally any piece of meat.
What qualifies as meat?
Meat.
Like a finger? Does that count as meat?
Yeah. She literally carries a steak
Cooked
in
or
her
uncooked?
backpack.
And
Uncooked. I think it's supposed to be raw.
how big is the steak? Could she not use like bacon
It's
or something?
literally a grocery store steak. Like it's still wrapped in everything. Like
Isn't that expensive? Why not get like?
you're
Seems a
you're
little
asking me, dude.
counterproductive.
Like
Get like frozen hamburger or something. Isn't that cheaper?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to be like fresh or not.
Yeah, does it have to be a solid piece of meat, or can it be already
Yeah.
pre-minced? You know,
I would
we're
assume.
asking the
I would
important
assume.
questions here, Nair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
Nair.
they haven't really gotten into the logistics of the meat exactly.
Does it have
But
to be red meat?
either way,
Like she herself
probably. Again, she literally just carries around a fucking steak. She sticks a knife into the steak and she pulls out this big greatsword, right? And that's her power.
See, Nair,
right?
we're pulling out plot holes because like, isn't she herself made of meat?
Yeah, well, newsflash, spoiler warning, this series is bad. This series is not good. So she pulls out this greatsword of this piece of meat.
Hold on, Nair. What if she can't stab herself because she's not made of meat?
I mean, she hasn't stabbed herself. I would assume she can't do that. Probably because it would kill her. But
Wait, so when she pulls out the greatsword, does it destroy the piece of meat?
I would assume. They haven't really, again, they have not gotten into the logistics of what happens to the piece of meat.
Now Toast is correct. That is really expensive to be spending every single time you want to buy a greatsword. Just saying, that's like $20 at this point.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think becoming a god is worth a few steaks, I think.
Does the size of the meat like have to do with anything?
No.
Damn.
So she should carry around meatballs instead of steak.
Also true.
I mean, it has to be big enough to put a knife into it. Is the thing.
Oh, it has to be a knife. She can't like prick it with a little toothpick.
No, like it has to be like a knife.
Like a regular, like a steak knife or kitchen knife?
I mean, she just sticks like a kitchen knife into it, like a big, cutting knife. So anyway, so she pulls a greatsword out of a piece of meat.
Man, this series is stupid.
She starts swinging at the main character, and in fucking main character of a survival game fashion, he's like, no, I don't want to kill anybody. And then the imp that's following him is like, you're stupid. You have to kill her.
Take her meat
like,
power.
Yeah, he's like, okay, I guess I'll kill her. And he activates his power, which, if I'm reading and understanding it right, is probably the most broken thing that you could possibly have ever. And I don't know how the series is going to write around this, if they are at all. Because the first 2.5 episodes sure as shit don't. But basically, he just activates this magic book, and while he's chanting this magic book, he seems to be completely invincible. And after he's done chanting the magic book, he just wins. Like, he literally just wins. The power that they've explained it as
opposite of an incantation's benefit.
Yeah, so the power that they've explained it to be is he trades like he like cashes in karma, right? And in order to do that, he sort of has to inflict himself with bad karma. But like whenever he casts the spell, he gets so much good karma that like reality just rewrites itself around him, so he just wins. And in the first fight, the way they do this is he essentially makes it so a piece of a broken satellite in space falls down from the sky and kills the person that he's fighting.
Wouldn't that give him bad karma?
Yeah. Yeah, so afterwards he gets bad karma. And the way they do this is he starts getting bullied in school, which I think is a
Wow, that's
pretty I
very
think it's a
proportional.
pretty yeah, I think it's a pretty like fair trade-off to be bullied in school for a free like I fucking win power.
Like, hold on. What's the extent of the bullying? Is it like a, what is it, magical girl site level of bullying?
I mean,
What are
the
we
only
talking?
bullying they showed was he got a bunch of shit written on his desk and they put trash in his desk. That's
No,
it.
what is it?
That's
No
awful.
nails in his shoes yet?
Yeah. And also he got suspended from school, so it doesn't matter.
That's good karma, though. How dare they?
Yeah. Um
They don't know. This series sucks. They can't balance out karma yet.
yeah, and also his mom hates him. But apparently that was happening before this, so I don't really know how that has
Oh,
to do with his
oh,
karma.
near. That's called bad karma. That's why he's got so much good karma to summon a satellite.
Yeah.
Wow,
But why
perfect
does he
writing.
get good karma from that?
I don't
You know what I'm
know.
saying?
I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know how it works. Um
So does
but
he
anyway,
actually
so
actively have to get bad karma to like use
so
it, I
after he
guess?
kills Sawa, right? He goes, "Oh, I feel bad." And he asks the imp girl to revive her. And she's like, "Are you fucking retarded? She's just going to try to kill you again." And he's like, "Yeah, do it anyway." So they do that. And in the second episode, they sort of strike out a alliance, right? Like they partner up together, which is unheard of in a survival game series. Two characters partnering up. Um, and then this weird like a gas mask dude attacks them at school, and the gas mask dude's power is he can shoot green fire. Um,
Hold on, is he colored green?
Surely that is a match for our protagonist,
What's his
yeah,
color,
I
near? What's
think.
his color?
green. He's green.
Okay, good.
I don't think he's even in this. Well, maybe he is. I don't know if it's the green person. Anyway, they're like completely covered up, right? They shoot green fire, and that's all they do. They just shoot green fire, and I guess the only way that the writers or whatever decided that they could possibly make like fight scenes interesting in this series is to simply have the character refuse to use his power for like 5 straight minutes, get his ass beat, and then be like, okay, now I'm gonna use my power and I'm gonna win.
Yeah,
And so
see, near. That's smart. That's storing up bad karma because he's getting hit.
yeah, definitely.
What a cheater.
So in the second episode, in the second fight, after he uses the power, um, apparently reality just rewrites itself. Like the laws of nature just get rewritten entirely, and this like green fire gas mask person now repels oxygen. Like oxygen particles just go away from them, and so they
Because he's
suffocate.
burning them. What?
I don't know. I don't know. They just can no longer intake oxygen, and they die. They suffocate and die. Um, and at that point, I was like, this power seems a little strong. This power seems a little bit broken, actually. Um, so I started watching the third episode, right? And in the third episode, it goes into the main character's sort of, I guess, best friend, question mark, and plot twist, he's also a candidate. And he's the orange dude that has the spiky teeth, and he looks like he's a Soul Eater ripoff. And his power, from what I gathered, granted I skimmed the fuck out of this episode because I was like tuned out. I was just done. But his power is he can see 5 seconds into the future. And I think that's it. I think he also like he can also like summon stuff, question mark. I don't really know how it works.
So he has what, freaking King Crimson? Or no, Epitaph. That's it? That sucks.
Yeah, so he can see 5 seconds into the future. And he decides to fight the main protagonist, and he gets his ass beat because in this fight, the main protagonist refuses to fight his friend, right? Like he just refuses outright. And so
like
he
he's
ends
like
up
he's like, I knew you would say that you wouldn't fight me.
he ends up getting choked unconscious, right? Like he's out. Like he's fucking gone. And so instead of the main character using the power, the imp uses the power instead.
Okay, so he's really cheating now.
Yeah, so the imp can use the power too. And I don't even know what happens in this, because like before he gets choked out, right? His fucking arm gets cut off. And then after the imp uses the power, he like pulls out this fucking magic staff and regrows his arm back and then shoots like this big fucking laser beam, that apparently, like according to the other character, says reduces things to have never have existed. So it's like, does this dude have any weakness at all? Like, as far as I'm aware, he's invincible. Like, he just cannot lose. Like, his power is just, I win, you lose, and I'm just gonna be hesitant to use it.
So that's gold experience Requiem, right? That's to reduce things to 0.
I guess, but instead of it being a punch, it's a big fucking laser beam that he shoots out of his staff, and it can just delete people. So that's really cool. So yeah, this series is bad. This is a survival game series where the main character is seemingly just invincible. They don't have to sort of wit their way out of any scenario. They don't have to use strategy at all. They just have to get their ass beat and then go, I'm gonna read out of the book. I'm gonna read the book and I'm gonna win. On top of that,
so it's like
this
when a character has a really strong spell incantation, and famously, there's no downsides to that.
yeah. I mean, the downside is he gets bad karma, dude. He gets bad luck for a little bit.
Damn.
No, like, yeah, he gets bullied in school. He gets somebody pushes him, and he falls in a puddle. Like, bad stuff. It's tricky. But yeah, on top of that, this is an entirely CG series. It's fucking ugly. Like, it's really genuinely ugly. It's not like poorly animated, really. Like, this isn't X-Arms tier. The shaders are not very good. The art style is not very good. It's very much like a bootleg, Soul Eater kind of style, but it's not good. The like environments and backgrounds, like every background character is sort of like this black and white, like just gray model, that doesn't have like any defining features at all. The character designs are, in my opinion, really kind of gross. They're all wearing this really ugly, like sleeveless, suspendered school outfit. The boys have like shorts with tights under them.
Boy short.
And then the girls just have skirts with tights under them. And it's like, I don't know who came up with this, but they're a fucking
Do you
freak.
think Yoko Taro did that? I don't think he did that.
No, I don't.
I love homogenized school uniforms that are gender neutral.
Yeah, definitely.
Why didn't they give the girls like pants? Why didn't they give everyone pants? Damn.
I don't know.
But they
They've
dropped
got
the
like
ball on that
they've
one.
got like shorts with like skin tight tights under them. It's really kind of gross. I feel like if I don't know, man. If a school I was going to gave me that uniform, I would just get expelled, I think. But yeah, in terms of like character writing for this, it's really quite bad. The main character is a sort of a wimp. He's really as generic as it gets. He's sort of a do-gooder. Um, all the other characters are kind of just really cliched. There doesn't really seem to be any core like motivations for really any of the characters. Like none of them are really fighting to be God for any particularly good reason. They haven't even really delved into what being God entails, like what that actually gets you. Yeah, this is really just as generic as it comes in terms of a survival game series. There's really no value to this at all because again, the battles are literally just an I win button. They're not even interesting. There's really nothing redeeming about this series at all. I don't know why it has sort of the, I guess, marketing that's attached to it with Yoko Taro's name. I don't know how it's pulled money for, you know, Firo's Eye and Ayane Sakura and other people to be involved in this. It is really genuinely baffling. Um, it's really quite ugly. I think the only thing that sort of caught me by surprise in this is the music. And maybe that's just Yoko Taro kind of ringing sort of Keiichi Okabe's group into this production. But yeah, I I really can't recommend this at all to really anybody. And I'd probably I'd probably rate this like a fucking 2. It's really bad. Um, I mean, maybe if you are like the fucking God's strongest soldier for survival game series, and that's just genuinely what you love, maybe you might get something out of this. But otherwise, I think it's dog shit. I think it's trash. So
So Nier, you're saying this is the best Yoko Taro series?
no, I'm not.
So Veneer, what's the best Yoko Taro series? Is it
Near
which Nier? Nier Automata, Nier Gestalt, Nier old young boy Nier? I don't know which one is which.
replicant, but
Replicant.
yeah, I mean probably Gestalt, but I have sort of a nostalgia bias for that one. But yeah, like I don't know. I feel like this having Yoko Taro's name on it, it kind of does a disservice to his like career. Um, but he's been involved in weirder shit, so I don't think he really minds. But yeah,
Okay. Wow.
that's pretty much all I have to say overall for this. Like,
What would you do to make this series better,
Yeah,
Nier?
what would you rate it as well?
You said 2.
yeah, I gave it a 2. But also to make this series better, I would probably never have let it see the light of day, to be honest. Like,
Would you still stick with the CG?
no. Like, why would I?
Why not?
Because it's bad?
Isn't near Automata CG
I-
the
It's a
game?
video game.
Yeah.
So I guess if you want to use the technical term, then sure. But that also has like textures and shaders in it
What would you
and
rate this against?
animations.
Hold on. What would you rate this against the Nier Automata anime? You watched that, right?
Yeah, I think if you're putting this next to Nier Automata, the Nier Automata is a literal fucking masterpiece. Like,
So you're saying the main character is stronger than not Nier, 2B, huh?
probably yeah.
Because since we're talking JoJo powers, who can who can this guy beat in a JoJo fight? Could he beat Dio?
I mean, if Dio let him use his power, then no. But
But
otherwise,
what about Dio over Heaven? That's reality warping, isn't that?
I guess I don't really know too much about that. But
Did you finish part 8, right? Did you finish part 8?
no,
Okay, then never mind.
I didn't really. I mean, I didn't really fuck with Part 8 because it was like taking 8 years to even establish
It
a
was
villain.
really long.
Yeah, like
So a good series. Nier, you ready for episode 5?
no, I'm dropping this shit like a rock, dude.
Nice.
Well, I think with that, thank you, Nier.
Good job, Nier. It was
And
definitely worth the time and effort.
Not really.
yeah, man. It was
Not
everything
really.
you ever hoped for. Everything you
I
ever
genuinely
imagined.
regret watching this. Like,
You're on a streak.
yeah,
You're on.
definitely.
But yeah, not sure what happened to Spire. Have not heard from him. So, I believe.
We should cut it here. We should cut it here.
No, we're not going to
Probably
cut
not.
it here.
Go on to news? Let's go to news.
I mean, we
Yeah,
can
I
just
mean,
move
we
on to
may
the
as
news.
well. Yeah, we may as well just go to the news. There's not too many things. I mean, I can go over it if you want. I have it pulled up.
Go ahead.
So at least as far as what Spire highlighted, and one funny one that I found so far, looks like our first news is J Novel Club expands into Europe with JNC Nina subsidiary for light novel releases in French and German. So J Novel Club announced on Sunday that is launching a new subsidiary titled J Novel Club Nina, or JNC Nina, to expand into the European market. And starting today, fans in Europe can subscribe to JNC Nina for weekly installments of light novels translated into French and German. The service costs £5.49 per month, or no, not £5, €5.49 per month, or €60 per year, and gives access to subscribers access to light novels on JNC Nina's website, app, as well as across discussion forums and the J Novel Club Discord server. And it's following a similar service to the English offering. It will release chapters weekly and will release full compiled book digitally approximately 2 weeks after all chapters are available. And the compiled books will be available on Amazon, Thalia Tolino Consortium in Germany, France, and FNAC in France. And yeah, so it looks like you can also purchase these if you're not subscribed. So you can just do direct purchases. And imagine that. Imagine
Imagine
offering
a fucking
translation.
subscription service, right? Where you sort of just get the light novel, right? Like you subscribe and you get the light novel. You don't have to do daily logins for fucking tokens and shit to unlock chapters or whatever. Like
You
you
do
you
that?
just fucking
Ugh.
But are you really a
yeah. I mean
fan
the like the
if you
fucking
don't?
Japanese subscription services that we've covered in the news, where it's like, yeah, you have to get like daily logins, and you can unlock things chapter by chapter, and it's like, no, just release a fucking cheap subscription service that gives you access to manga and light novels. It's really not that fucking complicated.
But Nier,
Like,
how could you do Nier, what about the login events to get one free chapter?
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't you a gamer? Hmm. But yeah, I
What about
mean,
what,
these
what about
services
the
sound
battle
great.
pass, Nier, to get the
I
0.5 chapters?
I really hoped we see more expanding in this direction. I especially like the fact that you can just buy things outright as well. I think that's, a natural and smart idea. I
Yeah,
think
just
I think
the
basically
more ability to purchase and access like digital media. I mean, why not, right? Like just
yeah, I mean it's great. And I think, and again, like I said, I think the direct purchase is something definitely worth talking about because I think that is a place where a lot of subscription service kind of go wrong. Because I think you should always offer for a bigger premium the ability to just outright buy something.
yeah.
I would assume the reason why that doesn't happen is because the licensing fees are higher than obviously because like, if you were to buy something on like any sort of, streaming service, so to speak, or in this case, like a subscription here, if they have to remove something from their catalog, they can. But if you just outright purchase it, I think in most jurisdictions, you legally have to be able to have access to that, regardless of what their terms of service says.
Yeah, I mean I think that comes into a question of what you're buying it on, right? Because I think a lot of these are available on stuff like Google, um,
Yeah, this set as well. This is available on Amazon as well.
yeah, like
You
Amazon
can buy it
Books,
through.
stuff like that. And I think like the requirement to have that always available, regardless of whether you've purchased it, however long ago, I think that falls on the onus of the storefront and less so on the rights holder. Although I'm not 100% sure for that. But either way, it is definitely more like it's probably more hoops to jump through to be able to like, put something up on um like the Amazon storefront instead of
Oh yeah,
just
that,
your
yeah,
own.
yeah. That's what I mean. It's like I'm sure the point is that like these services don't really want to be like, well, like
Yeah.
if we just have it up there for like a quote unquote, a limited fashion or a like very hard locked fashion to the subscription, we could remove it at any time. Then it's like less of a licensing fee that they have to pay, like less that they're paying out because they're like, well, technically we're not selling this to people permanently, um, or something like that. I would assume that's the case. Haven't really looked into that, but I can't imagine anything different because, well, yeah, I mean, also there's royalties and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
when you're able to just pull that, definitely more beneficial as a platform holder. So good to see that not being the case a little bit more. Would hope to see this like go, maybe anime one day will get something remotely close to this that is like, you know, including a web browse, like a web player that works, or the
Yeah.
option to like buy series for much cheaper than like $80 per BD, but I
Yeah. For
digress.
$80 for 3 episodes.
Yeah. And let's see, what else do we have here? We have next is a Kickstarter campaign for a graphic novel based on Osamu Tezuka's Alabaster manga is canceled. Noir Caesar and Osamu Tezuka Productions canceled the Kickstarter for their graphic novel adaptation of the Alabaster manga on Thursday. The company launched the campaign on October 4th. The campaign aimed to raise $30,000 by November 3rd. It has raised approximately 1,379 from 29 backers in its first week. As the campaign did not raise a listed funds, it will not receive the money. Backer rewards include digital and physical copies, including autographed ones. Chuck Brown would have written the graphic novel with artwork by Anna Weishik. I think that's how you would say that. Anna
I don't
Weishik.
know how you would pronounce that.
Noir Caesar describes the graphic novel, reimagined for a new generation of readers as a contemporary graphic novel from Noir Caesar. Alabaster reinterprets Ralph Ellison's novel The Invisible Man and follows a former successful black athlete, James Block, who's framed by his girlfriend and wrongfully imprisoned. While inside, James befriends a disgraced scientist that gives him the solution to his problems. A laser gun that either turns its subject invisible or kills them upon using it. Okay. After several
One or
visions
the other.
and locating the device, James disfigures himself in a failed experiment that turns him partially translucent like Alabaster. Angry, vengeful, and with a new identity, Alabaster wreaks havoc on bigots and hypocrites alike.
Based.
So how can you tell if someone is invisible or dead? Are they like talking?
Fucking,
I don't know.
I guess that's the catch, you know? Like, who knows? I guess it's like a little brain teaser. The
No,
company
hold
has
on.
stated reimagined story aims to add some depth and layers to the titular main character and add details about the African American civil rights movement in the 1970s. I mean, that would be post, like, civil rights movement, right? At that point, would that? I guess it still falls under the same umbrella, but
yeah, but where?
it's kind of odd to refer to it as that, like, specifically, because I mean, one could argue up
Hey
until
man.
today, even.
Hey man.
But yeah, I mean, I would hope with a
we all
plot line
remember
like
Oliver
that.
Jackson.
Listen, Oliver Johnson, first of all, and second of
I'm
all,
sorry, Oliver Johnson.
I would certainly hope that they just wanted to add a little bit more depth to the main character with a premise like that, because that sounds like it could get really dicey really quick.
I mean, yeah. I mean, does it not say how much it like actually raised? Like,
It does not. Let me see if this Kickstarter project shows it. Oh,
it really only raised.
it only raised $1,379.
Damn, that's crazy. How long
But
was this up
wait, how
for?
long was this
Like,
up? Let's see. Bro, it was up for a week. Project launched October 4th, rather.
bro,
Project
no
canceled
way.
October 12th. Get the fuck
You're
out
not.
of here.
No way, bro. You
Guys,
can't raise 30
can't,
grand in a week.
can't
Like,
do
there's no
that. The
way.
standard is a couple months, fellas. What the fuck?
Hey
This
man,
shit was
paper's
up
expensive.
for what, 8 days? Yeah, eight whole days. So yeah, literally a week technically.
Yeah, there's no way,
With
man.
its timestamp, dude.
Like, that's literally asking the impossible. And this is like.
This
This is
obscure as
this is
fuck.
a
Like
yeah, this is a very obscure project. Like a Western comic like re-envisioning of an old school like Osamu Tezuka manga. That is fucking very obscure. And to just be like, yeah, we can raise 30 grand in a week? That's insane. Like, I don't know who's managing this project, but they
Hey man.
deserve to be fucking
Hey man,
fired.
is it really that hard? Remember what a Gene Simmons' son did with Bleach? It's pretty easy to me.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But
Yeah, no
yeah,
way.
I
I
mean,
mean, the project
let this
sounds
be a
cool,
lesson
to
of
be
like, yeah,
honest,
I
but
mean,
it's
it
like,
looks cool, it sounds cool. This would definitely be something I would be interested in. The art looks very nice. Um, this is really good promo as well. The sample looks great. I will link that here. But yeah, I would suggest anyone look up this and be sad for what could have been if they gave it more than a fucking week.
yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that shit's
I'm actually
insane.
kind of sad, yeah, because this looks really, really fucking nice. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just taken aback on that. Spire seems to be back with us. Do you have any comments on this?
On the Kickstarter, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the 1 week Kickstarter. trying to raise 30 grand for an extremely obscure project with zero push.
I mean, yeah, it's really unfortunate because it does seem like a good like it seems like a fun idea, but it's very unfortunate because I've almost never heard of this happening for this sort of project.
Yeah, I
Usually,
mean, I literally did not hear about this, and the fact that this was only up for a week is like insane.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this now. Like, I honestly, I may have backed this. Like, this looks nice. Like, this is cool. This is a very cool idea. And the fact that you could do, you can get a digital PDF of it for just $15, 15 smackaroos, like, cool. $30 for a physical edition. I will say $30 for a physical edition seems exceptionally low. But hey, I don't know. Maybe they got the printing prices then. Yeah, there are some variant covers. This seems like a really cool idea. It was priced really nicely. And yeah, I am really sad that they decided, wait, this was going into funding October 4th and was supposed to run through November 30th, and they just canceled it after a week.
yeah.
I mean, I understand
It's
the
a little bit
idea
of-
that like the first week is for your funding, but it's like, bro, I literally didn't see this anywhere. You couldn't have pushed this at all.
It's a real
No
lack of
one could have
marketing. I
gotten
don't
this
know
out
why.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why it didn't mark. I don't know why it didn't get out there either. Because it's like Osamu Tezuka, so it's
It
not
has the
like
character designer for fucking Valhalla. It looks like.
yeah.
Or no, a character design. Okay, they did the cover for Valhalla, a couple of review projects and stuff like that. But still, like,
Yeah.
these are extremely like, you know, prominent. Well, not, I don't know about prominent people. Like, I can't speak from experience, but these are people who like seem like they would have pull if you gave it time.
Yeah.
And I
Or
really
like
don't
you
see, I really
able
don't see what
to.
the harm is, because there's a lot of work done here already. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't say anything here on the news thing. But yeah, I don't know. That kind of sucks. That's highly unfortunate, and I hope we somehow see this in some fashion.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate, especially since again we know that it's a good idea, and we know that it's a should by all rights be a big enough name to alert other people to the situation, but it's a little bit of rare and very unfortunate occurrence this time around.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was going to cover the next news story just because I think it's funny. And the picture is kind of nutty. I don't know if you do want to do that. This is the Kunihiko Ikuhara, who's a woman who claims plagiarism of illustrations. Do you want to take this one? Or?
Yeah. So I guess we'll just do this as like the last piece of news for today. But usually we don't do people news as much, but
I
this time
saw this
around,
picture and I think it's like it's so sick to open by
Yeah,
being
yeah, yeah.
like, no, I didn't do anything, and in fact I'm suing you.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like so Ikara Kuniko, who is the director behind shows such as Revolutionary Girl Utena and Penguin Drum, she faced claims on social media from an unknown woman who alleged that she had plagiarized her work. Ikora has denied the allegations and filed a lawsuit against the woman, with the court scheduled to deliver a verdict on December 13th. So, according to the report, the woman, who described herself as a voice actress and illustrator, sent a Twitter direct message or DM to Ikuhara on April 2022, claiming that he had plagiarized one of her works. Later, when Ikuhara's bandmate and anime industry colleague posted an illustration from an anime that Ikuhara had worked on, the woman posted that it was a trace of her work. Ikuhara claims that the two illustrations have no similarity. So it was like a constant back and forth, essentially. The woman then allegedly continued to escalate her actions, emailing publishers, record companies, anime production companies, and talent agencies that Ikuhara had worked with, demanding that he apologize to her. Ikuhara reported the matter to the police, who began sending patrols to his home twice a day, and who urged the cancellation of one of his band's concerts for security reasons. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
I see. So my initial read on this was I thought that these were the two images side by side. This is not the case. These are just the images. This is just the images.
Yeah, yeah.
If this was side by side, I was like, dude, come on now. Like, what are you
Yeah,
talking
you
about?
can't. Yeah, you
Like,
can't just say that. Yeah, exactly.
but yeah, very interestingly enough, and this may surprise you, does not seem to be any actual evidence of the original image here. Suppose the alleged
Yeah.
original image, the
Yeah.
original line work. So that's something.
Mm. Yeah. So a little bit unfortunate, but at least hopefully this gets kind of figured out in court pretty shortly. So a little bit of weird news for this time around. And I guess with that, we are done with the news for these 2 weeks. And our last segment will be our shout out and call outs. So everybody here gets one shout out and one call out each. Yeah. And uh it is a shout out is one thing that you want to praise, give 5 out of 5. Can be any one person, place, or thing. And call out is the exact opposite, something that you want to rant about, give 0 out of 0. And again, can be any one person, place, or thing. And again, each person gets one shout out and one call out each. And we start now with Dark. Shout out, call out, please.
I'm going to shout out the recent Star Citizen Con, I believe, because it was really cool and really good. And much like 2016, apparently, I'm a newer backer, by the way, so I'm kind of spoiled here because I didn't give a shit about this game prior to 3 years ago. But seems like Squadron 42, the single player campaign, is feature complete, which is nuts. And in the polishing phase, which then it goes to the like optimization phase. But we might only be like 1.5, maybe 2 at most years away from this thing releasing. And this shit's been in the works for 10 years now. Right? Star Citizen's original Kickstarter was in 2013, so this is kind of insane. Everything they showed off the tech looks really good. And yeah, could not be happier. I think it's the best one yet. And then I guess you know, on a more somber note for my call outs, I want to call out recent recent tragedy, recent crimes against humanity that were committed. And of course, everyone knows what I'm talking about, and that is the release of Sneaking by Mori Calliope. This track is awful. Yeah, you didn't see that one. That track sucks. That track is awful. Where is the sneak point located? We will never fucking know. She says sneaking or neaking over 75 times in that song. It's also only 2.5 minutes long, so
I was
that's a
trying to
lot.
go over the there was like a specific part of the lyrics where like the ending half of the sentences are all Japanese, right? For like a couple of lines. And I think I mentioned this in um, when you guys are kind of talking about this song, none of the Japanese parts rhymed except for the part where Heiken was rhymed with Heiken. And I was like, all right, guys, like,
Wait,
can
so
we
did
have a
they
talk
not even
about this?
rhyme with like the English parts? I'm gonna be honest with you. I only listened to very brief moments of that because I literally couldn't make it through it. And I
I
can't read
think
moon
there
words,
was like
so
one part, like one pair of sentences where it rhymed, and then everything else was just like it was just prose, I guess. It was just
damn.
like, oh, we'll just say stuff in
Spoken
these
word, little
sentences, I
spoken
guess.
word, little
Yeah,
slam
exactly.
poetry.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my
Yeah,
god, it was
that
not good.
It's
But
called art, dude.
dude,
Yeah.
that shit's so
Dark,
bad.
but
Like,
Dark, if she didn't do sneaking, we wouldn't have Mokoko doing a arguably better version of sneaking instead.
I don't want any version of sneaking. If I'm being honest with you, I don't want any of it. There's really like the production is dog shit. Just gonna even calling out the other people on this project, by the way, production's ass. As with most Mori Calliope songs, the mixing fucking garbage. Okay.
Mhm.
The lyrics bad. Very bad.
What?
Um,
The problem is, okay, so the
even
bigger
if we get,
problem
even
is
if we
also
ignore the chorus, which repeats like 5 times in 2.5 minutes, by the way, definitely the sign of a really good song, especially a really good rap song as well.
But Dark, she's a one-man version of Fortune Fat Man Vamp.
Dude, it's like, and the fact, I mean, to say on beat when you have like such an awful fucking flow is wild. I guess.
But Dark, I like the in-game segments, especially when she was
So
laying in the field of flowers. That definitely
dude,
did not
listen,
hurt
I'm
me in
not gonna
any
say,
way.
I'm not gonna say. We all know what happens in that scene, and I'm just saying,
yeah.
maybe it's time for
I
for the persona of Mori Calliope to also experience that scene. Um,
I just
I just don't get how you like, because I was telling Tanir, like the chorus has obviously the sneaking and neeking, the iconic sneaking and neeking, and like these awful bars, like sneaking like I'm Snake, everybody keep it solid. Like, first of all, stop. Go to jail immediately.
Goes so hard, dude.
At the
I
very
just
least,
don't
that's
understand
like
who
that's
would.
like something, right? You know what I mean? Like Solid Snake, like it's fucking terrible, and a 12-year-old could write it, but it is
Mhm.
something. But then you go to more sneaking and neeking for 7 more times, and then you get the bar sneaking like I'm Snake. Everybody find your bomb. Yeah.
How
Like
many bombs are in the Metal Gear series 1, 2, and 3?
there are a decent amount of bombs, but really like Metal Gear Solid 5 is like the only one where it's like, nukes are the main thing.
Hey
Mhm.
man, Peace Walker.
I don't
Peace Walker had a nuke. MGS1 had a nuke.
Yeah, they have bombs, but
MGS3
like
had
Yeah, but
MGS3
you're
had
not
Davy
disarming
Crockett.
like
you're not
shit.
disarming their bomb. Like we're not finding bombs. We're trying to like
Yeah.
find the things that are going to launch the bombs for the most
Yeah.
part because
Hey,
it's a Metal
hey man, hey
Gear.
man. MGS. Hey man, we're talking Fat Man. Freeze those bombs.
I just can
It's
I just say I
true.
think the bigger problem
That's
is
that's
that
why I
like
say that's why I say she likes MGS2 the most is because of that line. Like freezing bombs, that's an MGS2 thing.
can I also just say that I think the bigger problem is I don't know,
You've never played
like,
Metal Gear Spire? How dare you? Get out of here.
no. What I'm saying is, who is this song appealing to? Is my question. Like, when she's like talking about everybody,
I
Everybody
assume
find your
I
bomb. I guess like
yeah,
Valorant
everybody
players,
fireball
like
into
Counter
like
Strike.
yeah, sneaking, nicking, or whatever it is. who is she? Like, who is her audience for these things?
Well, listen, if you
She-
ask her fans, this was a meme song, this was a bit of a joke, a bit of a laugh. But
See,
also if you
the
ask
thing,
her fans, the last release was a bit of a joke, bit of a laugh.
oh my
Soul
god,
food, bit of a joke, bit of a
just-
laugh. Do you see the pattern here?
it's like
God,
if she's gonna say, I don't think it's appropriate to say it's a meme song. Like,
I mean, it's shit.
if
Like it's bad. It's really not a meme song. Like it's
if
just
she
bad.
if this
It's
is
just
if this is
awful.
a direct this is a direct collab by the Konami company for Metal Gear,
yeah,
I don't think it's
like,
Yeah, I don't
appropriate
think
for
they
her
were
to say it's
asking
a
for a
meme
meme.
song.
I don't
yeah,
think they were
yeah,
asking for
exactly.
some slop. But
Yeah.
that's
Like
what we got.
Future Islands, Future Island was pretty for what it is. It definitely fit the tone of
Mhm.
One
Except for the
Piece.
last like 15 seconds.
Well, yeah, I can't disagree with that.
I mean, listen, there's definitely a world in which Mori Calliope can put out a song that is like listenable, or like
Doesn't
not
make the
even
ears
listenable,
bleed.
is more so. I want to say, what would you call it? Like something that is more of a like a real song.
Not
There is a
damaging to the
world.
environment.
Yeah, there's a world where she does that.
Yeah.
Because obviously any person could write like a real song. Like any artist should be able to, right?
Mhm.
And this isn't one of them.
I just wish that she
So it's just
like
weird to say like to essentially have the cope of like, oh, this is a joke. This is a joke. No, dude, you just like don't get it. This is like a meme song. When it's like,
yeah.
I don't think that the meme songs like the intentionality of that comes out when you're like hired, like to say, to collab
Yeah.
with a fucking company and make a song for something like Metal Gear of all fucking things.
Yeah,
Metal Gear
it's
is the second most popular Konami franchise they have. First, if you don't count like the Pro Evolution Soccer, so kind
Mhm.
of a big deal. It's a big
I
deal
just think
series.
that yeah, it's okay for Mori Calliope again to be bad at whatever. I just wish that she wouldn't be treated like she's some sort of like
She's a genius,
forerunner.
but we just haven't heard
Yeah,
it
yeah,
yet,
exactly.
dude. We just
Yeah,
haven't heard it
exactly.
yet.
Maybe the next song won't be a meme. Who knows?
No.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I don't know, man.
But yeah.
No, who knows? You know in your heart. Because whatever you say, unless you consider the next song fucking amazing, it's gonna be a meme. It's a meme song,
Yeah, exactly.
actually.
It's
Actually,
it's not
Slutty, it's a
serious
meme
until it's
song.
good. Yeah.
You're taking it a little too serious.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was bad. That was really bad. It did a lot of psychological damage to me. Obviously, I opened this with a joke, but also, call outs to that too.
Yeah.
But this one, this one, this song sucks.
Mhm.
She opens with "Kept You Waiting, huh?" Which like is a thing that Snake has said. Snake has actually said that before.
Yeah.
What I don't think Snake has said before though is I'm at the sneak point. Now I'd have to go back.
I love the sneak point so much, man.
I have to go back and I have to
I
replay like
believe that
one, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't call up and be like, Otacon, I'm at the sneak point. Like I don't think he says that. I'm just saying.
Hey man. At least the lyrics don't call the neat point. God. Fucking I
Yeah,
just
listen. You sneak
yeah,
and neek
it's
to get to the sneak
God
point.
damn it.
Okay.
no, I believe he doesn't say that at MGS1. I believe that's an MGS2 thing.
Does he say I'm at the sneak point? He says that? I'm at the sneak point.
Like, I believe that's the beginning of the tanker mission.
I don't think he says that.
Yeah,
Let me look it up.
I
I'm
don't think
pretty
he
sure.
says sneak point, man.
Yeah.
And if
But
he does,
anyways,
then Kojima was on some fucking dank ass shit, dude.
Because I'm on
he was on
IMDb. I
future
believe it's
future Moriko IP. But yeah. Anyways,
Does he
thank you,
actually
Dork.
say, bro? He does say I'm at the sneak point.
What does that
No
mean?
fucking way.
that means he's on the he's on the tanker.
No, it doesn't.
Does he say
I'll-
that? Does it? Wait, I can't even tell if he says that or if this is just a deep cut meme.
I definitely want to say he said that on the tanker.
Well, anyways, again, let's put this aside for now. Thank you, Dark, for shout out call. Near, what about you?
I guess I'll shout out Baldur's Gate 3. It's kind of a good game.
Yeah,
It's a bit glitchy though. I think people that were calling it like the most polished game of all time were legitimately smoking fucking crack. Like that game is glitchy. Like that game is quite glitchy. But it's good, you know. As for callouts, so I don't know if any of you guys have seen um any of the like Spider-Man 2 game.
It's pretty
But
glitchy actually. Just
yeah,
saying.
yes, that's also super glitchy. But so in the Spider-Man 2 game, Miles Morales gets a new suit. And it's probably the ugliest fucking thing I've ever seen any Spider-Man wear. It is fucking rancid. I'm gonna post a picture of it in the DM, and just get a whiff of that.
Oh,
It's
don't you
fucking
worry. I
disgusting.
will post this.
What is that? That looks like a Gmod.
Yeah, it
Like,
looks like shit.
it's the hair. I don't like the hair.
It's the whole thing.
It's
It's
kind
the
of the
whole
whole
thing.
fit.
It's
like
the
has a
hair.
mask
It's the
poster to the
fucking.
hair. Yeah.
It's the like blue fucking icy hot gel on his arms.
Yeah, I
Well,
was telling Mir,
those
he looks like a
sneakers.
yeah, he looks like a sneaker. Like he literally looks like a shitty sneaker. He looks like a sneaker that a child would wear. Like the gel part literally looks
Yeah.
like something that would be on a kid's shoe.
Yeah. I don't know what Insomniac was cooking. I don't know.
Is
I
there a
don't know
hood
what
on it?
poor.
Maybe if the hood is up?
There is, but I don't think he ever puts it up. But yeah, I don't know what poor artist at Insomniac was like. Yeah, this is good. Um,
Yeah, the
I don't.
clean
I don't
cut
know,
at the
man.
top of the head also is like probably one of the worst parts because it looks like he just had his
Yeah,
head chopped off.
but yeah,
Near,
that
don't you
shit's
get it?
nasty. That
Near,
shit
don't you get it?
genuinely offends my eyes.
The icy blue is because he has venom. Get it?
Yeah,
Yeah, his
except
venom was yellow too.
his venom powers are yellow. Like they're
I
bright
think they're
yellow.
blue in too, though. I think they did make them blue.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Either
A
way,
little bit.
that shit's rancid.
A little bit unfortunate. So, anyways,
Yeah.
thank you,
He
Near,
still has the
for your
swagger of a
shout
black teen, though, so it's all good.
It's true. It's true.
You can tell by his shoes. It's definitely.
Yeah. They put more effort into the shoes than the rest of the costume there. But anyways, thank you, Nier. Toast.
What?
Shout out, call it, please.
I'm gonna shout out World of Horror. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Game's finally out of development. Is it alpha, beta? Finally an official release, and that game has been good ever since I bought it, like 2021. Yeah. The new mysteries are pretty good too. And Aiko's my go-to when I do runs because she's one of the beginning characters and she's got that combat bonus. Hell yeah. Run around killing eldritch beings with a steak knife. And if you're lucky, the katana, because those are dex weapons. And she scales off of dex. But yeah, the other one, the new character Ayaka that I got, that gets powered up when you get curses, she's pretty good too. I heard she's an S tier character. But yeah, World of Horrors, pretty cool. Check it out. Buy it on Steam, and it's on. I believe it's on consoles now. After,
Yeah.
like officially in the West, after a week delay. It's a cool game. It's got the vibe that I like. Yeah,
And your call out?
I want to. Dark. How does it feel to be wrong about the stake point thing? It's real.
Honestly, like just like like more damning evidence against Kojima. Gonna be real with you.
I think the sneak point. I think sneak point being real is like a real fucking Berenstein Bears moment. Like,
Yeah,
Really?
I don't believe it. I still don't believe that the sneak point is
I
a real fucking thing.
like until you
Nobody
guys
like that.
un- until you guys brought it up. I always knew it was real, but like I have to check.
no, you didn't, dude.
There's
Snake
no
point,
way.
yeah.
Not a single fucking person on this planet thought that sneak point was real. Because it
Nobody
wasn't.
out here was like, "No,
Sneak
I
point
remember
was
the sneak point.
literally not real.
I remember sneak point. Sneak point is iconic, dude. Like,
I wouldn't say
Yeah,
it's
bro,
iconic,
I
but it's
have never
definitely.
heard, I have literally never heard a single person fucking quote that when they say kept you waiting, huh?
That's
The
because
fact that the follow up is
it's not
actually
widely
like,
used.
I'm at the sneak point is fucking insane. Like,
It's not as memed as
Yeah.
a dud or we've managed to avoid drowning in the days, but yeah, it was like you guys made me doubt if it was real or not, and I always thought it was real.
I
And guess
really
what?
don't
I
think it
was right.
was. I'm gonna, like, again, I don't
yeah,
think it
I
was.
Just blot
genuinely
it out.
believe this is like a Berenstein Bears moment, and we've crossed
We've
into like a different
crossed,
timeline.
yeah, like, where I'm at the sneak point fucking manifested.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just another thing that adds to the belief that I think she likes MGS2 better than MGS1. Which is
Yeah, she's gonna stream MGS2 and she's gonna be completely blind, and your world is gonna be shattered. Like,
well, guess what, Near? She already did,
God
and I
damn.
watched it, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's about right.
Okay. Anyways,
But yeah, no, that was what was my call out?
uh, yeah, you saw it.
What was
Call.
my call? Uh, death.
all right.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Death
that's
is
true.
uncool.
Yeah, that's a pretty good call out. It sucks for sure.
We should
So,
kill death.
yeah. Thank you, Toast, for your shout out call out. Mine, real quickly, call out. Obviously, again, I just a little bit of radio silence because I had some problems here with my mic and system here because of new setup. I apologize for the inconvenience, but yeah, I'm just gonna call that out. My shout out. Um, what I shout. There's like not that much to. Oh, I know like Imai Asami and like some people were creating new kind of like content on YouTube recently. Obviously, Imai Asami did her VTuber debut, and then Han Megumi, who is known for doing Arimakana and Oshinoko, as well as say Ramlethal and Guilty Gear excerpt.
Ramlethal or Ram Lethal?
I just call it Ramlethal.
So
But
what's
I don't
one
know
word?
I don't know what the correct pronunciation is.
There's one word and then there's two-word version. It's Ramlethal if it's
Yeah,
one word,
I
right?
just call it Ramlethal.
Fire, you forgot one.
What is it?
Forgot Gotomaki.
Oh yeah. So Gozumaki. But yeah, she was streaming herself playing Armored Core 6 just recently. So some pretty interesting content being made here and there. So
Is
shout
she
outs to
good?
them.
Did she get gay kept?
Uh, I forget. I was like skimming through stuff, but I mean, I think she was about as good as a busy female voice actress could get, probably.
What's that supposed to
So
mean?
I mean, she is probably not spending many hours on AC6 to begin with, and I think
I
she
don't know,
like
man.
pretty much just
Tanaka
started
Ray
the game.
plays doesn't Tanaka Ray play Genshin Impact, and she's pretty good.
Yeah, there's some people who are actually pretty decent, but obviously, again, they're a little bit few and far between. So, but yeah, that's my shout out, and I think with that, we're pretty much done with our shout outs and calls. Again, I apologize very much for the inconvenience. We, I think, are going to have 3 more episodes. Yeah, 3 more episodes, 3 more podcasts for our fall reviews. Maybe we might have to cut one for an upcoming awards show, but we're gonna have our fall reviews, and then we're gonna scoot right into our awards show slash preview show, and hopefully that'll give us a good schedule and time for winter to hit. So, anyways, if you do like what we do, we stream our podcast live every Saturday, starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in Japanese animation media, anime, manga, light novels, visual novels, web novels, and so much more. So you can check us out here on our live recording content on twitch.tv, or you can check us out on YouTube, where we have, again, we have it on Twitch as well, highlights, clips, and different anime reviews and so much more. So here, check it there. Uh, Check us out on our social media, on Facebook for Play Animecast, as well as on Twitter or X at 4PPAnimecast is our handle. Again, all with numeral 4. So, yeah, here, there, and as always, we'll see you next time.